Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Joseph Rodriguez.
It disappeared again.
The Brain.
And the brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Man, we are jam-packed today. Ton to get to today. Basketball Tigers picked up an in-conference commit. We'll get to that. Billy Inbody next hour. Anthony Rinaldo in hour 3. Pels pick up a win last night. Former Tiger made his Major League debut over the weekend. Just a ton to get to. We are going to empty the bag today. Glad you're hanging out here on a Monday edition of AFR. Let me start with baseball. Tigers finally got a series win. They go on the road. They beat Kentucky Friday and Saturday, and they come up short on Sunday in a game that was close, and then Kentucky blew it open in the bottom of the 7th with an 8-run 7th and coasted from there. But for LSU, this is basically math, right? You're 1-8 in the SEC. You've got 7 weekend series remaining. If you want to get to 500, you win 2 out of 3 the rest of the way. Voila, you're at 500. That's math. You got to win more games than you lose. I know. It's very basic. Win more than you lose. But they did that this weekend. I know there's sort of the temptation to say, but they blew it on Sunday. They had a chance. And all that might well be true, and we could talk about some of the particulars. But basically, you needed to accomplish exactly what you did accomplish, which was go on the road and take 2 out of 3 and put yourself in a position now to climb up from that 1-8 hole. And now you're at 3 wins in conference. So it's a start for LSU, which is 20-12 overall. A couple of observations. On Friday, I said that was Landon Marceau's biggest start of his career. And I wasn't trying to put too much pressure on Marceau, but realistically, he's not a guy that's taken the ball in a key spot yet in his career where you talk about like a big postseason type game or something like that. And obviously there was no postseason last year. And for LSU, had they lost this series, it would have been impossible for me to imagine a scenario where they mathematically get into postseason. They needed Marceau to go shove, to go be an ace. And he was. 7 1/3, just 1 earned run, did not walk anybody, struck out 8. Landon Marceau on Friday night was as good as any ace that you'll see in the SEC on Friday night. And for LSU to have a chance to climb out of this hole, they're going to have to do it in a different way than what we initially talked about, which was try to split games 1 and 2, and then know you've got an edge every game 3 because of A.J. Levis, because not many teams have a guy on Sunday that's thrown 100 career innings. LSU had that luxury. Well, with Jaden Hill's injury, LSU no longer has that luxury with Levis moving up, and we saw that manifest on Sunday. They ran out Blake Money, gave up a 2-run homer in the first, a 2-run homer in the third, and LSU just couldn't keep pace with Kentucky. They ran out of pitching by the end. So you've got to be able to win on Friday now. You've got to have your ace go be an ace and give you a chance to win that game on Friday, and Marceau was every bit of that. A couple of things from the weekend. I hated seeing Devin Fontenot go out there in game 1 with a 7-run lead. And I don't want to nitpick, and I also understand what we talked about was because you were sitting at 1-8, every game was of the utmost importance. You couldn't leave things to chance, but you had a 7-run lead. And you had guys like Vetmeyer and George, guys who were veteran pitchers who could go eat up innings, and you just say, hey, look, just throw it over the plate. Let them hit it and get themselves out. If you give up a run, so what? Give up 2 runs, so what? 3 or 4, 5 runs, so what? Their odds are statistically in our favor still. Just go throw the ball over the plate. And instead they ran out Devin Fontenot with a 7-run lead on Friday. And he was great. He walked the first guy and struck out the next two. But when they went back to him on Saturday, he just wasn't as effective. And that's how you saw Kentucky climb back in and almost overtake LSU before Jordan Thompson came up with a big RBI, some insurance, and then Garrett Edwards slammed the door. I think it's also curious why LSU did not use Will Helmers in this series. Now, Paul Maneri, can we play this, Brain? It's number 5 from postgame Sunday. Paul Maneri was asked why he didn't go to Helmers or Edwards after Blake Money in relief on Sunday.
Well, those are just decisions that I make for various reasons. I had Hilliard up earlier and got him hot when Blake Money was on the fringe there, and he had warmed up and got hot, and then I had him sit down, and I just felt that the thing to do was go with the lefty, Hasty, and then Fowler, and they both did a decent enough job, but I thought Hilliard might have tightened up, didn't want to use him later. Those are just decisions that I make during the course of the game. Wilson, I just felt that those other guys had a chance to get the job done. They just didn't work out as well as we had hoped.
So something that I've often said, just philosophically, is in baseball, we're still saying you fail 70% of the time, you go to the Hall of Fame. A lot of times your decisions aren't going to work. But if you have sound logic behind the decision, then I can live with the result, whatever happens with it. Paul Maneri wanted to go lefty there, which he wanted to go with his lefties out of the bullpen, which I guess I understand if you're going through a left-handed heavy portion of the lineup. For me, I think it all comes back to the decision to start Blake Money, but also Will Helmers has been a guy that you've relied on from literally the opening weekend. Now, he started the opening weekend, if you remember, at third base, and that was a disaster, and we can laugh about it now in hindsight because he's been so good on the mound, and it was really an unfair position to put Helmers in an opening weekend. But he's been your consistent guy. He started for you on the road, midweek games, but he's gone on the road and started, which is something that Blake Money hadn't done to this point. To go into that series and to come out of it not having given Will Helmers the ball at any point, it's just really hard for me to understand that because your bullpen is short with guys that you trust. He's one of them, and he didn't touch the ball. That's tough. I hope that changes. As a matter of fact, what I hope happens this weekend against South Carolina is Will Helmers is the Game 3 starter. Because one other thing that manifests that we saw is, of course, Garrett Edwards is still very good at the end of a game. And in Game 2, when Kentucky closed it to 2 runs, you gave him the ball in the 9th inning. He went and got a 1-2-3 inning and was completely unfazed by that moment. So I'd like to see Will Helmers get his shot to be the Game 3 starter. I was surprised he didn't. Well, I can't say I was surprised because Maneri traditionally does ride the hot hand. He was excited about Blake Money after the relief appearance against Vanderbilt. So I'm not totally surprised by that, but I am surprised that Helmers did not touch the bump at all in Lexington this weekend. One other thing, real quickly, then we'll break and we'll move on. I loved to see Cade Beloso break out this week, and really the whole week. He had 545 for the week, and over the weekend in Lexington, he was 5 of 10, so he had 500 in the series against Kentucky. He had a double, 7 RBI, 2-run score, drew a walk, twice was hit by a pitch, so he had a 571 on-base percentage. We talked about this several weeks back with Todd Walker on the show, and Todd pointed out that generally speaking, you can tell by a player's strikeout numbers if they're actually having competitive at-bats. And when you look at Cade Beloso in 100 at-bats this season, he has 10 strikeouts. Like, by comparison, we've talked a lot about Hayden Travinski having a lot of problems swinging and missing. He's got almost 20 strikeouts in about 40 at-bats. It's incredible when you think about it. Dylan Cruz, Trey Morgan, Jordan Thompson have all struck out more than 20 times this year. Beloso 10. He's been putting the ball in play. He just hadn't had a lot to show for it. And this is a game where ultimately, if you stay with it, those averages are going to normalize. It's just the nature of baseball. You're going to go through hot streaks and slumps, but if you stay with it, by the end of the season, the average is what it's going to be. And it was good to see Beloso get rewarded because he's a guy that you can bat in the 2-hole, see fastballs, and he can drive them. He could be a run producer in the middle of your lineup, or he could be a guy that you bury in the bottom third of your order that's going to get on base at a 571 clip for when you turn the lineup over. He's that versatile of a player when he's going right. So it was great to see Cade Beloso get going this weekend offensively, finally have something to show for it. So baseball Tigers take 2 out of 3. They do what they had to do, which was win the series in Lexington. Now they move on with South Carolina coming in this weekend, and what will be a very busy weekend around the LSU campus. We'll get to all of that throughout the show today and certainly throughout the week. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Relief Windows, Windows Door Siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. We'll knock out our first break of the show. When we come back, LSU basketball needing to remake its roster, and they got an SEC transfer edition today. We will talk about him when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. Why not start off this week by doing something I've encouraged you to do for a very long time? Call Insurance Network of Louisiana. They're online at lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net, or as I mentioned, you can call them 293-0450. 293-0450. They are at the office right now. 293-0450. Do like Kim did. Kim was an AFR listener, saved $1,619, had been with Liberty Mutual, saved $1,619 on her home and auto combined, and kept her $1,000 hurricane deductible instead of seeing that go up with a different policy. Again, better coverage for less money. You never know if you're overpaying and or underinsured until you shop to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. And it is totally free to have Insurance Network of Louisiana shop. So what are you waiting for? Call them right now, 293-0450.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not one, but two NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for, and when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling through a Monday edition of AFR. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Hope you had an awesome weekend. I did. You didn't ask, but I just figured I'd tell you. Billy Inbody's going to join us in an hour, and there's two pretty significant stories that I want to discuss with Billy Inbody when he's here. One is that Dennis Dodd is reporting, Dennis Dodd, of course, of CBS, is reporting that the NCAA is going to lift the no contact period, the dead period for recruiting on June 1. That's obviously very significant because since last March, when the COVID shutdown happened, there has been no in-person recruiting. Recruits couldn't come to campus, and coaches couldn't go off campus and recruit in home or at games or whatever it may be. There was no face-to-face contact. So many recruits committed via Zoom, only met their coaches via Zoom. Ogeron told stories like whenever when spring football started, some of the true freshmen showed up, the early enrollees, said for some of the guys, the first time they ever met them face-to-face. Like Bug Strong, Devontae Strong, the linebacker, they never met. He committed sight unseen. I mean, it's mind-boggling to think that, but it's true. So that's massive, obviously, to be able to open up the gates for recruiting again, but also for a lot of the prospects who never get scouted unless if they have the opportunity to go to camps. We talked about this a lot with Rohan Davies' son, Micah, who's a linebacker at U-High, and Micah sort of came into his own physically throughout his junior and then his senior year, and he ultimately signed with McNeese, but he's the type of prospect that would have benefited greatly from having all those camps to go to before his senior season and then to be able to go on recruiting visits. Well, he didn't have any of those opportunities. So a lot of prospects, guys who maybe otherwise would have never been seen, are going to have that opportunity, it looks like, to go to camps this summer, which is great. Then the other part of it, which is just, the macro, the big picture, is if the NCAA is showing you that they're opening up by allowing on-campus recruiting, this only further illustrates that come fall, we're going to have full stadiums again. We're going to have people on campus. We're going to have tailgating. We're going to have all of those things. Maybe there will be people wearing masks or some of those mandates, and some states will be further along than others. But did you see what happened this weekend at Ole Miss? Did you see? Ole Miss Arkansas played baseball this weekend. They're in Oxford. If you didn't see this, it was incredible. They set an attendance record. They set an attendance record at Ole Miss this weekend for the baseball series against Arkansas. I mean, it was bonkers to see some of the highlights from the student section out in right field. I'm trying to find it on Twitter real quick, so forgive me as I kind of clumsily search through here because I can't find it. But either way, they set an attendance record amid the reopening from COVID. They had more than 30,000 fans. I believe it was more than 33,000 fans there in Oxford this weekend for that baseball series between Arkansas and Ole Miss. So everything is pointing toward things reopening, which is a great thing. And certainly I know we all want, come that first Saturday in September, for LSU to be playing UCLA in the Rose Bowl in front of a packed stadium, and for all the LSU fans who have wanted to make that trip ever since that game was announced, that series was announced 5 years ago, whenever it was. It's looking more and more like everything is moving in that direction, which is fantastic news. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. This is a fascinating story. This in and of itself, Xavier Pinson transferring to LSU, isn't the fascinating story. The fascinating story is the absolute overwhelming number of transfers that are hitting the transfer portal right now. As of late March, so about 2 weeks ago, there were just short of 800 players in the transfer portal. Last year, they didn't hit 800 players in the portal until the end of April. So about a full month ahead of normal transfer market trends, and last year was a record. So I mentioned that I want to. Billy Inbody's coming on with us about an hour. We're going to talk about the early signing period, or the dead period being lifted. But I'm also going to talk to him about this news with Xavier Pinson announcing via his Instagram earlier today that he is transferring to LSU. This is very significant news for Will Wade. If you're not familiar with Xavier Pinson, he's a guy that just finished up his third year at Missouri playing for Quanzo Martin. He was their second leading scorer this past year. He's a 6'2 point guard, 6'2", 170, so he's lean but long. And Pinson's one of those guys that from the day he showed up on campus in Columbia has been an impact guy. Played in 26 games as a freshman, and then each of the last played in all 31 games as a freshman, all 31 games as a sophomore, and then this year played in all 26 games, shortened season obviously because of COVID. But he's gone from averaging 6 points a game as a freshman to 11 as a sophomore to 13.5 points per game this past year. And when you think about LSU basketball right now and what the roster overhaul is going to look like for LSU, Cam Thomas has yet to declare, but we know he's going to. Javonte and Trendon Watford have declared for the draft and hired agents. Darius Days has declared, but is yet to hire an agent, so he is left open the option of potentially coming back. You're losing at least 3, possibly 4 guys from last year's team. Not only are you losing those 4 players, but Cam averaged 23, Trendon averaged 16, Javonte averaged 16, Darius averaged 11. That's 66 points a game. LSU averaged 81 a game. So basically, you have 15 points per game returning. That's it. You lost all of your offense from this past season. Will Wade knows it. I mean, you would love to have the option of another Cam Thomas coming in, and maybe that's what Brandon Murray will be for LSU. Maybe he'll be that instant offense guy, or maybe not. So if you can go get a 1-year hired gun who can come in, who's been a point guard in the SEC for 3 years, who started, as I mentioned, he's played in 88 games, started 49 games. He scored 903 points in his career at Missouri. I mean, he's been a consummate team guy, the career college basketball guy. He is, for lack of a better comp, Skylar Mays. I'm not saying he's going to be as dynamic as Skylar, but a guy who came early, played through, stayed for 4 years. He's Missouri's version of Skylar. Not a guy that you'd expect to be a top 15 pick in the draft, but plays well throughout his senior year, could be a second-round pick, team guy, team-oriented, all that stuff. So it's a really nice pickup where next year, when losing both Cam and Javonte, you've got Jalen Cook, who I'm excited about, and you've also got Eric Gaines, who played a lot late for you in this season. But those are 2 young guys who haven't played a ton of minutes. You add a guy that's played 88 games in his career and started 49 times. Yes, please, I will take that. And it's also a guy that's done it in the SEC. He knows the league. He knows the league's talent. He knows the league's arenas. He knows the league's coaches. And, of course, LSU knows him because LSU's played Missouri, and so they played against Xavier Pinson. They played in Columbia this year. The numbers are going to be interesting. Of course, you're allowed 13 scholarships in college basketball. Let's assume the 4 guys who we just talked about are gone. That means you'd have 4 spots available. Well, you've already got 3 that have signed letters of intent. Jarrell Colbert, Brandon Murray, and Bradley Azawairo. Now you've got both Pinson and, remember, Seneca Knight, also the shooting guard who transferred in from San Jose State. He's a Louisiana guy, went to San Jose State. Now he's transferring back to Baton Rouge. So those 5 right there mean you're already 1 heavy. Unless if Seneca Knight his scholarship counted this year, which I'd have to check on. He had to sit out this year, but again, he transferred in after the start of the semester. So that's one of the things we'll talk to Billy about when he's with us in the next hour. But it's very likely, though, with this being so, that you're going to have to lose somebody else somewhere along the way. There's been talks possibly of Bradley Azawairo not being a part of this class, even though he signed his letter of intent. We will get some clarification on there. But how Will Wade massages the numbers will be interesting. But he's been clear he's not done yet either. Will Wade, from the day he showed up, coming off a 2-16 season in conference, Will Wade wasn't going to use a rebuild year. He went out and gutted that whole roster. and he went and got grad transfers, and he got JUCO players, and he got traditional transfers and built up a roster that was competent enough to get to the NIT that year. And I don't think Will Wade's going to be content to say, well, we lost 4 guys, we lost all of our offense, this will be a rebuilding year. He's going to go find ways that he can plug the holes in the dike. And he's going to do it with transfers, however he's got to do it. And it doesn't seem like he's done yet. But Xavier Pinson's a really, really nice pickup. I'm excited about that. Veteran guy who can score and will instantly be a day one starter for you, transferring in from Mizzou. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. That's our friends over at GMFS Mortgage. Do what I did. Do what thousands of Louisiana homeowners have done. Call GMFS Mortgage or log on to GMFSmortgage.com. Get in touch with a local loan officer and let them hold your hand through the process of refinancing your mortgage. If you're a homeowner, please, 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 please take advantage of these historically low rates. GMFS Mortgage can help. I did my entire process through text and email. Never physically went into a building until I went into the title office to close to sign physically sign the papers that I had to sign. GMFS Mortgage can make it work for you. Shorten the life of your loan, save money on your monthly mortgage payment, maybe skip a payment or 2 like I did when we went through closing. That's GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. All right, it's After Further Review. We're going to go around the SEC when we come back and also talk about another former NFL player that's becoming a college football head coach in the same vein as Deion Sanders there at Jackson State. Also, former LSU Tiger Alex Lang made his MLB debut over the weekend. I got to talk about that as well, as the Langer had a lot of success. I'm pumped for him. They play tonight in Houston, so we'll get to that as well. As I mentioned, Billy Inbody next hour. Anthony Rinaldo to start hour 3, talking some LSU baseball. A lot of NBA mock drafts. Kevin James is going to play Sean Payton in a movie. Like, we got so much stuff to get to. Fired up, tons of energy, and glad you're with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you want to make your backyard a showplace, if you want to turn that boring yard into an oasis, Pinnacle Exterior Construction can make it happen. Log on to the website, pecbuilt.com, pecbuilt.com. Pinnacle Exterior Construction, custom pools, outdoor kitchens. They even do fences and decks and arbors, bulkheads. If you've always dreamed of having that spot, and COVID made this more prevalent than ever, when people were stuck at their homes and thought, man, it would be fantastic if I could turn this boring backyard into my own personal kingdom. They can build your custom pool at Pinnacle. They can build your outdoor kitchen, your fences, decks, arbors, bulkheads. They do it all. They don't use subcontractors, so they can control the labor and the cost and the schedule. Have a great experience. Call Pinnacle Exterior Construction. PECbuilt.com.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Another NFL great's becoming a college football head coach for the first time. Of course, Deion Sanders, head coach at Jackson State. He's 4-3 in his first season. Well, Eddie George, the former Ohio State great, Heisman Trophy winner, and running back for the Tennessee Titans. Eddie George is going to be the new head coach at Tennessee State. This is first reported by Stadium Sports. It's been confirmed by ESPN. The current coach at Tennessee State, Ron Reed, is out after a decade-long run there. He's been there since 2010. And George is set to be introduced Tuesday as the new coach at Tennessee State. I think this is interesting. And Eddie George, by the way, has never been a coach. He's actually, I didn't even realize this. Eddie George had gone into acting. He had done Broadway plays. Did you know this? Eddie George has been on Broadway. I don't know what show, but he's been on Broadway. Anyway, I actually really like this. If you're Tennessee State, how else could you draw, same thing with Jackson State, how else could you draw that much attention? And think about all the positives that have come from Deion being at Jackson State. The attention to SWAC football, the fundraising. They just announced the gigantic 9-figure deal with Pepsi and the SWAC championship game. I mean, these are all net positives that are going to impact the entirety of the conference, not just those schools and every young person that plays in that league. So, yeah, it's a great thing, and you couldn't generate that attention otherwise. And honestly, it's no different than ULM hiring Terry Bowden. Could they have found a younger, up-and-coming coach? Sure. No one that's going to have the profile that Terry Bowden did. It's no different. I mean, this didn't work out, but no different than Kansas hiring Les Miles. Was Kansas really thinking Les was going to come in and win championships there? No, but he was going to bring a lot of attention to that program. Now it's kind of negative attention. But if you just go back in hindsight and you look at the type of attention that Les brought initially, and they had the ESPN show, Miles to Go, the mini docuseries about Les and his transition there. I mean, it's why you do that. So if you're Tennessee State and you could bring a name like Eddie George, put it to you this way. Is Tennessee State hiring a head coach on the front page of ESPN's college football section if it's anyone other than Eddie George? Am I mentioning on this show who the head coach of Tennessee State's going to be if it's not Eddie George? Attention's a good thing. Good on him. All right, that's further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows, Windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Remember, our friends at Relief Windows are hiring. So, you want to make more money? You want benefits, retirement, health insurance? They offer it. and a challenging work environment where you have something new and exciting every single day. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Sophomore guard Scottie Pippen Jr. has declared for the 2021 NBA Draft. He will not sign with an agent, so it keeps his options open to return to school if he'd like to. He, of course, is the son of the NBA Hall of Famer. Led the Commodores in scoring, assists, and steals this past season. Pippen, though, not listed among the top 100 players in the 2021 NBA Draft by ESPN. Has until July 19th to withdraw if he wants.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Jabri Abdur-Rahim announced that he's transferring from Virginia to Georgia. He is the son of Sharif Abdur-Rahim, the former NBA great. Abdur-Rahim heads to Athens after one season with the Cavaliers, played just 8 games for UVA, working back from an injury. The number 38 player overall in the 2020 class. Bulldogs already have 3 transfers this offseason.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama basketball picked up a 3rd commitment and a 2nd transfer. This time it's Furman guard Noah Gurley who picked the Crimson Tide over Auburn and Florida. Gurley is 6'8" forward. Averaged 15 and 6 a game last year for Furman. 3-year starter headed to Tuscaloosa.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Carolina men's basketball got a commitment from Washington transfer guard Eric Stevenson, 6'3", 200 pounds. Completed his only season with Washington this past year after spending his first 2 seasons at Wichita State. Butler and BYU had also been scouting him, but he heads to the Gamecocks, his the third transfer portal acquisition for Frank Martin this season.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And State picked up a 3-star prospect in its football class of 2022. Safety Jordan Thomas out of Montgomery, Alabama, has committed to the Bulldogs. Thomas is the 8th commitment in Mississippi State's 2022 class, the 4th defensive back in the class. 6'2", 190, the number 37 best safety in the country, 28th overall player in the state of Alabama. He picks Mississippi State over Tennessee, South Carolina, Indiana, Central Florida, and Coastal Carolina. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. And they are in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore, Lafayette, the official office equipment provider of the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the LSU Tigers. Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, so after further review, I'm glad you're hanging out with us here on a Monday. Hope you had an awesome weekend. I am actually really pretty excited next hour to talk about this Bountygate movie. It's not necessarily a movie about Bountygate, but it's a movie that Happy Madison, that's Adam Sandler's production company that's done Grown Ups and I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry and all that, the Sandler movies. They're the ones producing this film with Kevin James starring as Sean Payton. So we're going to talk about this a bit in the next hour. But sometimes the movie isn't so much about Bountygate. It's more about the season Sean Payton spent away coaching his son's team. So, and Payton apparently approved the script and everything. So all of that is interesting. Payton apparently approved the script. So I am interested to see in what light they present the entirety of the movie. Production has not yet begun on it, however. Always fun to see who else is cast in it. But to think that story, which was obviously such a big deal here, is something that would resonate to a national, international, global audience is actually pretty cool. And I hope coming out of that, part of what the narrative is about that year and that Bountygate scandal that this movie helps tell forever is how much of a hose job it was for the Saints, for the organization, and how bad of a guy Roger Goodell is for how he handled it. I mean, maybe that's wishful thinking on my part, but I'll tell you point blank, that's something that, like, going into it, it's going to be cool to see a movie about Sean Payton, the Saints, whatever, and it's going to be exclusively on Netflix. But something I'm really, and maybe that's just this bitter part that festers within me, I hope this paints Roger Goodell as a complete and total a-hole and makes the Saints look good. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but that's what I hope. Because I do think this movie will be part of the narrative that's told for years and years and years and years and years. All right, it's after further review. Like, for example, the movie Rudy. Like, there are things where sometimes production companies will take liberties with the story. Like, one thing that I know is, you know how Rudy had the friend Pete who died in the factory accident? Well, Pete wasn't a young guy. It was like an old guy who died in the factory. And Rudy's brother wasn't the a-hole. The young friend was actually the a-hole. So some of those things got twisted and changed, and that's kind of how we remember the narrative. So I'm not saying change it for this movie with Sean Payton. I'm just saying paint Roger Goodell like the a-hole he is. That's all. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're here. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air because they treat people fantastic. Read the Google and Facebook reviews every single day, and you see things that people say that they don't often say about an HVAC company. But that's the lengths that River City's 1 Hour Air goes to make sure that you're thrilled with the customer service and that you're very comfortable with who's coming to your house. That's why whenever a technician's on the way, you get a phone call, you get an email and a text message alerting you the technician's on the way. Then you will get a picture, the name of that technician, his picture, and reviews of that technician. So you know exactly what people have said in the past about this tech that's coming to your house. And remember, right now, 85 degrees in Baton Rouge today. You know the triple-digit temps, the triple-digit heat indexes every day. They're right around the corner. Before they hit, be proactive. Preseason AC tune-up, just $97. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At front to back, they got not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to front to back boat service.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for. And when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet,
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Glad to have you aboard with us here on a Monday edition of AFR. 11 former Tigers were on opening day rosters or on injured reserve in Major League Baseball. And over the weekend, a 20th former Tiger of the Pulmonary era made his big league debut. I was fired up to see this. Our buddy Alex Lang got his call up over the weekend, and it didn't take long for Lang to make his debut. So on Saturday, the Detroit Tigers were playing in Cleveland against the Indians, and they were losing 6-0, but Alex Lang came out of the bullpen down 6-0 and was asked to go out there and pitch the 5th inning, and he faced the minimum, 3 up, 3 down, and he punctuated the 3rd out with his first career strikeout.
Down the way fastball.
Oh, it worked. Save that baseball. First strikeout of that young man's major league career.
Alex Lang did, in fact, get his first big league K. And if you're an LSU baseball fan, all too familiar. Like, Lang made a living in Baton Rouge throwing that 58-foot breaking ball. It's part of the reason why Mike Papierski was so valuable as a catcher to LSU during that time, because Lang's out pitch was that breaking ball, which he could throw it for a strike, but he could also bury it, and guys didn't know whether to swing or not. And so often he got guys with sort of in-between swings, and he struck out a ton of guys because of it. And it was so fitting that this is exactly how he got his first career strikeout. Just buried that ball about 58 feet, low and away. Batter for the Indians, I can't tell who it was, forgive me. A half-hearted check swing, just something that's so familiar to anybody who watched LSU during those years where Lang was in Baton Rouge. But really cool to see Alex Lang go get his first career strikeout and to make his debut. Look, Lang's a guy who's been on the show. I texted with him, and I was trying to get him on today. I want to talk about the debut. I think we're going to be able to make it work this week, though, to get Alex on the show. But I think everybody knows his story, right? Alex was adopted and came to LSU from Missouri. And, I mean, he was part of a class that had, do you remember Jake Godfrey and Mac Marshall and Jake Latz? I mean, there were big arms in that class. And it's not to say Lang wasn't a big prospect, but Lang wasn't the guy that those guys were in that class. And, of course, Latz battled injuries. Mac Marshall showed up and left, never pitched at LSU. Godfrey pitched early in his career, had command issues, if I'm not mistaken, finished his career at Arizona State. And Lang became one of the greatest pitchers in LSU history. And I think he's one of those guys that, so anyway, to finish the thought on that, I'm pumped for him. Lang, of course, was taken by the Cubs with the 30th overall pick in the 2017 draft. Never really worked out for him in Chicago. They traded him in August of 2019 to Detroit. Then they had the COVID year, and he was, part of the Tigers. What did they call it? Like the COVID, the expanded roster in the bubble where they could go to him if they needed him. But he never made his debut. And then obviously this weekend he got his call up. He made his debut, and he got 3 up, 3 down. Came away with his first career strikeout. Lang started 53 games at LSU. And when he left, just as a refresher, He finished second in LSU history in strikeouts. Only Scott Schultz had more. Scott Schultz struck out 409 hitters from 92 to 95. So Schultz played 4 seasons. Lang played 3 seasons and struck out 406. Lang is second by 3 strikeouts. So keep in mind, had Lang actually gotten the opportunity to pitch in the championship series against Florida in 2017, presumably he would have had at least 4 strikeouts. He would be LSU's career strikeout leader in just 3 seasons. That's some amazing perspective on how good he was. Unfortunately for Lang, part of the reason that maybe some fans might forget just how dominant he was is because he didn't play on a championship team, and he was so close to. I mean, that's going to be one of the great what-ifs in LSU baseball history. 1998, of course, in Omaha, when they were in the winner's bracket. Weird, freak, cold streak comes through Omaha. The wind starts blowing in. The bats went dead, and USC beat LSU back-to-back days. 98, and then, of course, that 2017 team, which was in the championship series and was right there. But for the Eric Walker injury, I think LSU wins the national championship that year because Florida was out of pitching, and Lang would have been going in Game 3. But anyway, Lang is kind of right there with Aaron Nola. I think Ben McDonald, obviously, from the Bertman era, and then players like Alex Bregman and then Aaron Hill, among the best players to come through LSU that didn't win a national championship. But here's hoping Lang just goes and has an awesome major league career. We know that he's got the stuff to be a starter, but if they want to make him a reliever, which was a big conversation with Lang as it was with Zach Hess, sort of that max effort guy out of the bullpen, could he be that guy instead of a starter? We'll see what his role becomes in Major League Baseball, but Lang's clearly a guy who belongs and is going to be there for a very long time, so it was great to see him. Now, interestingly enough, tonight, not that any of us would ever really care or spend a ton of time talking about Detroit Tiger baseball, but tonight, Detroit is on the road in Houston. So that very well could set up, if Alex Lang gets into the ball game tonight, it's a 7:10 first pitch, that very well could set up an Alex Lang, Alex Bregman matchup from Minute Maid tonight. Look, a lot of things would have to line up, right? I mean, Lang would have to be in the game when the lineup turns over, when Bregman comes up, but there is a possibility that you could see Alex Lang against Alex Bregman tonight in the show, which would be an awful lot of fun. Maybe the only thing that would be more fun as far as a matchup would be to see Austin Nola against Aaron Nola if we were able to see that matchup in the show. But again, congrats to Alex Lang, who made his big league debut this weekend. 3 up, 3 down, needed just 16 pitches to get through the 5th inning, faced the minimum, got his first career strikeout. He's not playing on a very good team in Detroit, obviously. There's 3-6 right now. They're not projected to do much. But remember, A.J. Hinch is the manager there who had won a World Series with Houston and was fired after all the banging on the trash can stuff, was out of baseball for a year. Detroit very quickly scooped him up, and you got to believe that's an organization that, with the right structure, is going to be on the upswing, and hopefully Alex Lang can be a part of that. The Tigers have kind of become LSU North, man. You got Alex Lang up there now. Jacoby Jones is starting in the outfield. Zach Hess, of course, is in the Tigers organization. They just drafted Daniel Cabrera. They had Mato, who they, of course, then went to the Phillies, and now is with the White Sox. But anyway, it's almost like what New England was in the NFL for a lot of years, sort of like LSU North. The Detroit Tigers are kind of becoming that right now in Major League Baseball. So again, congrats to Alex Lang, made his debut over the weekend. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Love telling you about Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service, shawbillstire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at shawbillstire.com. And let me remind you as well, Shawbill's at all locations, they're always looking for great people. So if you are a qualified technician, give our friends at Shawbill's a shot. In particular, if you're in West Baton Rouge, our friends at Shawbill's are looking for their Port Allen store to hire qualified technicians. So maybe you live in Bruley or Addis, you live in West Baton Rouge, and you're tired of coming over the bridge into Baton Rouge every day, save yourself the trouble. Go apply there at the Shawbill's in Port Allen. ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name-brand tires at wholesale prices. That's Shawbill's, where we keep you rolling. All right, y'all, put the button here on hour number 1. When we come back after the top of the hour, I want to talk a little LSU spring football. Tigers are heading into the final week of spring. So Saturday is the spring game. So they got practice 2 days this week, Tuesday, Thursday, and then the spring game on Saturday. And LSU did announce that that's open to the fans, so we'll get into some of that when we come back right after the top of the hour. Also, Billy Inbody of Go 24/7 in the next hour. We will also talk about the Bounty Gate movie where Kevin James is going to star as Sean Payton about that 2012 season. All that's coming up in the next hour, and Anthony Rinaldo in hour 3. Glad you're hanging out with us here on a Monday edition of AFR.
AFR.
We're heading toward beach and pool season. You know that much. The weather's getting warmer, means shirts are going to start coming off. You ready? You ready to strut? Let's be honest, man. I was overweight. COVID, quarantine, football season, the combination, I was as big as I'd ever been. Ideal Protein, I'm down 21 pounds, looking great, feeling even better. Maybe it's not weight loss. Maybe it's hormone replacement therapy. If you want to feel like your younger self, the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. I have weekly injections is my schedule. Some are every other week. Basically, when you go, a simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy, and you'll actually meet with a doctor. You'll meet with Dr. Todd Howell, an actual MD, who will go over your blood work and decide on a treatment plan for you. Learn more online, theantiagingclinics.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com.
Have you been arrested for DUI or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payton family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfectant.
Hand injury lawyers.
This is Sportscenter.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. Today's Twins-Red Sox game and tonight's Timberwolves-Nets and Wild Blues games have been postponed following yesterday's fatal police shooting of Dante Wright, a 20-year-old black man, citing safety concerns and respect for the community. Tensions were already high in Minneapolis due to the ongoing trial of Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer charged with the murder of George Floyd. Games certainly shouldn't be played tonight, says ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
Basketball is the last thing that need to be played. Sports in general, especially in Minnesota. So I think this is the right decision. And again, I applaud everyone who made this decision because right now it's just not the time. Like, it's bigger than basketball.
Our Kendrick Perkins on the jump. Former Chiefs assistant coach Britt Reed has been charged with felony DUI for his involvement in a car crash earlier this year that left a 5-year-old girl critically injured. Reed's the son of KC head coach Andy Reid. From ESPN's Mike Reese, receiver Julian Edelman, who helped the Patriots win 3 Super Bowls, was Super Bowl 53 MVP, expected to retire. The 34-year-old has a lingering knee issue.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. It's hour 2. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Joseph Rodriguez.
Hey, Joe, what you doing?
The Brain.
Hey, the brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We will chat with Billy Inbody. Go 247 here in about 13 minutes from right now. 2 big stories that I want to talk about with Billy. One is that the NCAA apparently is prepared to lift, finally, the dead period on recruiting, meaning that on-campus and in-person recruiting can happen again starting June 1. We'll talk about that with Billy. And then, of course, LSU basketball today gets a commitment from Xavier Pinson, guard from Missouri. It's a big get for Will Waits, a guy who's been a starter, a 3-year contributor at Missouri, was their second leading scorer this past year at 13 points a game. Been a really good player in the SEC. He's going to be some instant offense and instant impact guy for LSU. We'll talk about that with Billy Inbody again about 12 minutes from right now. LSU spring games this weekend. I'll talk about that in a second. This news just came in within the hour, and I think it's pretty cool. If you missed it last week or over the weekend, the Redskins waived former LSU tight end Thaddeus Moss. Well, today, Thaddeus Moss has been claimed by the Cincinnati Bengals, which of course means that Thaddeus Moss is reunited with his former LSU quarterback, Joe Burrow. And I, personally, think that's a pretty stinking cool story. Thaddeus Moss he's an interesting case, man. And not that you need a history lesson, but Thad played the one season at NC State, didn't play a ton, transferred to LSU, sat out a year, and then never really got healthy. And it was one of those things where it was pretty contentious around LSU because they kind of felt like he could play and he didn't feel right. And so 2018 came and went, and Moss wasn't a contributor, and so there wasn't really great expectation for him. And then 2019 comes, and he has literally the best receiving season for a tight end in LSU history. And the hands are undeniable. I mean, just think about, of course, the one everyone's going to mention is the catch against Alabama where he tapped the toes right, inside the one, which was incredible. But all season long, he was such a vital receiving threat for LSU, but he was also a physical inline blocker. He reminds me, honestly, I was kind of hoping when I saw that Thad Moss got released by Washington that the Saints might make a run at him. Because obviously the Saints are going to have their pass-catching tight end, and Jared Cook's gone, and so that's going to be Troutman, but they've always also had the Josh Hill, the Michael Ho'omanu-Anui. They've always had that Dan Campbell, that guy that's the physical inline blocker that's attached. It's a physical player that could also catch the ball. And man, that's Thad Moss. He didn't play at all as a rookie, went undrafted, didn't play at all as a rookie. because of injury. And this was seemingly, hopefully, a season where we were going to get to see him emerge in Washington. Not going to get that shot, but now maybe reunited with Joe Burrow. Maybe he'll get that shot in Cincinnati with the Bengals. So congrats to Thad Moss, reunited with Joe Burrow. Obviously, that's a pretty cool security blanket for Joe Burrow there with a tight end he knows very well, reunited there in Cincinnati. And a lot of talk about maybe the Bengals taking Jamar Chase. But if Penei Sewell's on the board when the Bengals pick 5th and they don't take him, Joe Burrow should quit. He should quit football. Just walk away. Say I'm done with football forever. All right, not literally. That would be stupid. But you understand my point. Like, more so than a receiver, what Joe Burrow needs is for his knees not to explode again. So keep him upright, please. Okay, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. LSU spring game is Saturday. And today, LSU announced that they are, in fact, going to allow fans into the spring game. Free admission. I think it's fantastic news. Not unexpected. LSU had fans in the stands for the season, so why wouldn't they allow fans for the spring game? It's a event that's always been sparsely attended at LSU anyway. It's not one of these places that's ever going to draw 90,000 for the spring game, and honestly, I don't care if you draw 90,000 for the spring game. There are some places that pound their chest about that. I'm not one of them that ever cares. How do you get more attendance at the spring game? I don't know. I don't care. Have less things going on in town. Have less things that people want to do aside from going to watch fake football for a couple hours. Whatever. If it's your thing and you want to go, awesome. I'm so serious. But it's a practice. I mean, if you don't want to go, it's okay. I'll never put too much into LSU not putting 50, 70, 100,000 people in the stadium to watch a spring game. A couple of things that I'm interested in, though. And if you plan on attending, by the way, just a couple of notes. If you plan on attending, seating it's free. And general seating throughout the lower bowl, you can enter through the west or south gates, park west or south as well. So free parking. The south concourse of Tiger Stadium would be open for concessions. Got to wear a mask. But if you want to go inside of Tiger Stadium to see the Tigers, you can on Saturday, noon. That's pretty cool. So it'll set up a pretty nice day on campus with spring game at noon. And remember, spring game's usually done in 2 hours or less. And then LSU baseball, which plays the Thursday, Friday, Saturday series this week against South Carolina, plays the third game on Saturday at 2 o'clock. So spring game at noon, baseball at 2. Pretty nice day out on campus. Hopefully the weather cooperates. A few things that I want to see this week. Most important is just no injuries. It's just the most important thing in spring. Just get out of there without. You're gonna have tweaks and twists and turns and bumps and bruises. That's just football. But avoid the critical injury. I mean, George has already seen that, right? George Pickens, their amazing receiver, tore his ACL a couple weeks ago. That sucks. Avoid that injury in spring. On the field, definitely want to see the quarterbacks. It's not that anyone is going to win or lose the quarterback job in the spring game or in spring at all, but this is an opportunity at least to kind of gauge what the pecking order is like based on what order they go. I mean, you're playing a controlled scrimmage, so we shouldn't ever consider ourselves too much with the results of the spring game. I remember there was a year where Steven Rivers went out and balled in the spring game. It just didn't really matter. I love Steven Rivers, by the way. Great dude. Married. I think he and his wife have a couple kids now. All accounts doing great. But let's get real. So, but it's more like, let's just see in what order they go out there. The other thing that's always interesting, and look, you got new coaches this year, so you'll get to see some energy, some excitement. You get to see Jake Peets and Durante Jones. But the other thing, too, with the spring game is with the whole wave of early enrollees now, you get to see the freshmen. And there was no spring game last year, so you get to see the true freshmen, guys like Mason Smith, who has been talked about for 3 years, 5-star. Ed Ogeron's raved about him so far in spring. He's going to be rocking the number 0. Let's see Mason Smith out there in Tiger Stadium for the first time and see how he matches up physically. I think that's pretty cool. There's going to be seven freshmen early enrollees. Let's see how these young cats do out there in Tiger Stadium on Saturday. So spring game on Saturday. LSU announced it is open to the public, free admission. You can enter through the west or south gates of Tiger Stadium. Seating is general admission in the lower bowl. Just sit wherever you want, and they'll have concessions in the south concourse. So wear a mask. LSU spring game Saturday at noon. 2 more practices for the Tigers, Tuesday, Thursday, and then the spring game on Saturday. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Monday edition of AFR. We're brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. By the way, so I mentioned Saturday, big day. Our next Hudco hat party is going to be Saturday. So imagine this day. Noon, LSU spring game. 2 o'clock, LSU baseball against South Carolina. Right about the time the baseball game is wrapping up, come join us. Our Hudco team will be over at Bayou Ramen, our great sponsor here. They have live music at Bayou on Saturdays from 6 until 9 p.m. So we're going to have our Hudco hat party there. Come by, eat dinner. They'll have their happy hour specials throughout the entirety of the night. And if you show up, we'll give you a free Hudco hat. Rock it with us. Post some pictures on social media. Hang out. Watch some TV. Whatever games are on Saturday evening, we'll be there. And remember, there was awful weather that came through all of South Louisiana on actually the entirety of the state on Friday night, Saturday morning. If you suffered wind or hail damage to your roof or think you might have, give us a shout at Hudco. We'll come out and do a free roof inspection. You can go to the website, HudcoRoofing.com, HudcoRoofing.com. Remember, our Shreveport-Bossier office, the OG, the original Hudco office. If you're in Alexandria or North, call the Shreveport office. If you're anywhere along the I-10 corridor, call us at the Baton Rouge office, or you can just go to the contact tab at the website, fill out some info right there. Boom. We'll be right back in touch with you. Hudco Roofing. Tell you all the time. Do business with someone you know. That's me. That's Ryan Terrio. Glad to be partners with our friends at Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, y'all. It's after further review. Let me knock out a break. When we come back, Billy Inbody will jump aboard with us. We'll talk a little Xavier Pinson, some LSU basketball transfer numbers, the recruiting dead period finally being lifted after more than a year. All that's coming up. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payton family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Le posso offrire un caffè?
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling through a Tuesday edition, Monday edition of AFR. Wow. I was in hour 3. Now I'm in Tuesday. Woo! I'm just ready, man. Ready for tomorrow. Ready for next hour.
You get a series win, you're ready for the next baseball game.
Ready. Midweek game tomorrow, LSU Grambling. Get fired up. It's going down. The ones that really matter. LSU basketball got a transfer today. Xavier Pinson from Missouri. Billy Inbody from Go 24/7. Good enough to join us here for a couple minutes to talk about it. How are you, dude?
Doing well, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing really well. So I know the name Xavier Pinson. I'm sure you do, covering the league as well. Thoughts on the addition?
I think this is a really underrated pickup. And Shea Dixon, my colleague at Go 24/7, and I were just talking about this. He's somebody that they've seen a lot of. And as you look at, the transfer market, and, they missed out on, I think, some guys that they certainly would have loved to have, like Myron Jones and some other guys that have announced their own decisions. But they know, I think, what they're getting in Xavier Pinson, somebody who's played in the SEC. He's played on a team that I don't necessarily think put him in the best spots to succeed at times. We saw him shoot 40% as a freshman from beyond the arc, but kind of fell off to 33% as a junior this past year. But he's got 2 years left. One thing that Eric Bossi, our national analyst, was talking about was how getting him into maybe a better weight program and allowing him to fill out a little bit more, maybe get a little stronger, will allow him to continue to improve off of what is an explosive first step in the pick and roll game, get to the rim, finish a little bit better. He is a really good free throw shooter. So I think as you see the young guards that LSU has and will also have coming in and Brandon Murray, in addition to the returning ones, Jalen Cook and Eric Gaines, they needed somebody who could kind of help mentor them and build off of what Javonte Smart taught them, what Cam Thomas showed them, I think, more physically and in his play more than anything. But they needed a veteran guard, and this is a really good pickup in my opinion.
More of a point guard or a shooting guard?
I think he's very comfortable in the pick and roll. He's a point guard. I think Will Wade still wants to address the shooting guard, kind of combo guard spot, because they did lose, Cam Thomas, who's certainly comfortable going to the rim. Javonte Smart, very comfortable going to the rim. They need ball handlers, and so I think you could see a combo guard come in addition to Pinson, but he's very comfortable handling the ball. He's more of a point guard, though, I would say.
Let's talk about how the numbers work. Then Billy Inbody is our guest, Go 24/7. So with Pinson, that makes 5 additions. They've got 4 guys presently, or 3. We know Cam Thomas is coming. That are going to head to the draft. How do the numbers work, and especially if they still want to add more?
Yeah, right now the numbers look really good for Will Wade. I mean, I'll be honest with you. He's got a core that I think they're really excited about. I mentioned Jalen Cook and Eric Gaines. They have Brandon Murray, who they signed, who I mentioned. But you look at Alex Fudge, who redshirted, Seneca Knight, who redshirted this or sat out. They both sat out the second half of the season when they got to campus. Those are two guys that they're really excited about their futures. Josh LeBlanc, has shown flashes. Andre Hyatt gave them some quality minutes. Milani Wilkinson has a ton of potential. Josh Gray is somebody they want more out of. Sharif O'Neal hopefully gets healthy. And where I'm going with all of that is, in addition to two big men that they signed for 2021 and Jarrell Colbert and Bradley Azuero, is they really don't see that much attrition happening, which is kind of rare off of a Will Wade team. Usually we're talking about a complete overhaul, it seems like, every year between, just shuffling guys out or other guys, heading off to the pros, which we certainly saw in a way. But it seems pretty settled, the roster, but they want to, get a combo guard, I think, maybe get either kind of another wing type forward, 3-4 combo in there, and then another big man and a shot blocker, because we saw Brian Penn Johnson not work out at all this year when they brought him in as a transfer. Josh Gray certainly needs a lot of development, but he's got the size to do it. So those are kind of the three spots that I'm watching for the most part. Now, granted, I said that they don't expect much attrition, and we'll probably see somebody transfer in 5 minutes. But the core is really good, and this is a really close group. Is the thing that I picked up. So I think they're just trying to find pieces that will identify, I think, a little bit more defensively. I know they want to get a little bit better scoring from the scoring and shooting from the guard position with the next addition, whoever that is. But for the most part, they're really trying to address defensive issues, which have been there, because from what I've gathered, talking with a couple folks, is the core of this future of the team seems to be pretty defensive minded, which is a little bit of a departure from what we've seen in the past.
So, for clarification, Seneca Knight, who was the transfer, and then you mentioned Alex Fudge as well, did they count against this team's scholarship number?
They did. So Seneca Knight, yeah. So when Brian Penn Johnson left the program, I think somewhere in the early goings of the season, he was able to get shuffled off at the midway point of the year when Seneca Knight arrived, and then Alex Fudge arrived, and Charles Manning we saw transfer, and hopefully he gets got a good jump start on the final year of his career. I think he ended up at South Alabama, if I remember correctly. And but yeah, those two guys were on the roster and counted towards the scholarship numbers, and are good to go. But they are quote unquote additions for next year.
Okay, so theoretically, then LSU still has 2 scholarships available.
Yes,
I'm counting Cam Thomas is going to the NBA. It's going to the NBA.
Yeah, I think he's going to the NBA.
I think so.
He may or may not be a really good one too. I'm counting in my head right now, so it'll probably take me about 10 minutes. But 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's call it. I think 3 spots. I mean, they're gunning for 3 guys. That's what I've heard. So
okay.
They do a pretty good job of figuring out those numbers and trying to make them work.
Timetable?
Man, I mean, we've seen Will Wade take it all the way to August every year. So, and with the amount of guys in the transfer portal now, and it keeps growing and growing. I mean, even Mac McClung, the Texas Tech guard, just announced his transfer, and tough name for LSU fans, but it just goes to show that guys are continuing to transfer and make those decisions. And I think as coaching staffs get settled with some of the turnover we've seen in college basketball, I mean, it'll keep happening, and you'll see quality guys go in. You'll see some, not as great a quality guys go in too, and they're going to be patient. That's something that they've really done a good job of, is being patient. I think that most importantly, they've got to get that big man, that shot blocker, and maybe a little bit more punch at the scoring spot for the guard play. But it also wouldn't surprise me that if they can't fill all 13, maybe they hold one for the midway point of the year and pick up another transfer in the future, like they kind of did with Seneca Knight and Alex Fudge.
Billy Inbody's with us on Twitter at Billy Inbody. Go 247. Nice day for LSU hoops. The other thing I wanted to get a thought on is there was a report today, I believe Dennis Dodd had it first, that the NCAA is going to lift the dead period coming June 1. Maybe just a thought on how significant that news is.
It's huge. It's huge for the 2022 class, especially. I feel for those guys because, and talking with coaches just around the country, colleges don't really know these kids. The kids don't know the colleges because you can talk on Zoom all you want and on the phone or whatever, but it's just different, to get in a room with someone, and everybody knows that. That's in everything, in life, really, and trying to get relationships built and do all that. So now that they can go on campuses in the summer, and whether it be camp and be evaluated and, be scouted, that'll be huge. Building relationships in person, getting a feel for college campuses and facilities. The 2022 class now has a chance to do that. So you're going to see more and more official visits start to be scheduled. We've seen some big ones start to be scheduled for out-of-state targets for LSU already, and schools are anticipating camp. So it's been a long time coming, and it's something that needs to happen, and these kids need to be allowed to, kind of get back to normal and in terms of trying to evaluate their college options.
Hey, Billy, before you go, I just looked in our Bayou Ford YouTube chat, and someone asked about Garrison Brooks and DJ Jeffries. Do you have a thought on where those guys end up?
I think Garrison Brooks is somebody that I have not heard connected with LSU. I know they recruited both of them heavily out of high school and didn't end up landing them. I think you can do a lot worse than Garrison Brooks. DJ Jeffries certainly has a lot of high school career left to go. That's just kind of my early thought on those two right now.
Okay. He's on Twitter at Billy Inbody. Y'all give him a follow. Go 247. Make sure you're keeping up with all your LSU news. Certainly as recruiting season kicks into gear here in basketball with the transfer portal chock full right now. Billy, thanks, man. Always appreciate a couple of minutes.
Anytime, Matt. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Be well. It is After Further Review brought to you by Relief Windows, Windows Door Siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. We're not got a quick break. When we come back, Bountygate the movie. Kind of. But Kevin James is going to play Sean Payton in a movie. I'm kind of excited about this. Stick around. AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org. And, of course, part of the reason why so much of our society is coming back online now is the COVID-19 vaccine is becoming more and more available. So you can go reserve your shot today, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. If you go to the homepage of the website, you'll see it right there where you can reserve your shot. You can learn more about the COVID vaccine if you just tap the Learn More tab right there on the homepage of brgeneral.org. If you have those FAQs, you can get all the info you need about the COVID vaccine. More than 29,000 Baton Rouge residents have already received their COVID-19 vaccine there at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. If you want to schedule your vaccine, there is also walk-up clinic options available. brgeneral.org to learn more. brgeneral.org. Baton Rouge General Hospital, tell you all the time, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, expanding care for the greater Baton Rouge area. brgeneral.org. Learn more online, brgeneral.org.
further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I don't know how I missed this, but that's why I love my audience, all of you. I'm one guy. I say it all the time. There's just things that I miss that you see. You're a lot of people, and I'm one person. Well, back in the Elite Eight, of course, we saw Gonzaga hit a game-winning buzzer beater to knock off UCLA in overtime. A segment we've done periodically whenever the opportunity presented or has presented over the course of the years has been something called Shut Up Color Guy. And it stems from, I can't even remember where it started, but I think Josh Innes and I did that together like 15 years ago, a long time ago. Anyway, apparently the Gonzaga radio broadcast, when they hit that game-winning shot, gave us the perfect opportunity for Shut Up Color Guy. I missed it until Brad Saunier on Twitter, shout out to Brad Saunier, pointed this out to me. Brain, if you would, let's hear the clip so we can have another installment of Shut Up Color Guy.
To the right side of the floor, defended by Kispert now, drives, leans in, the runner comes up short, choosing the rebounds and puts it in. We're tied at 90, 3 seconds left. Here's Suggs the other way, pull up, three for the win! Yes! 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 Of the championship game! He knocked it from 40 at the buzzer! Yes! The Bulldogs! Wow! Play for a national championship!
It gets better or worse. The color guy is none other than former Gonzaga great and National Player of the Year, Adam Morrison. Hey, Adam Morrison. Shut up! Like, this is some people will say, oh, I love the emotion and the enthusiasm. Yes, all things are very true. Emotion and enthusiasm are great. But if I am someone listening to that radio broadcast, I have no stinking idea what just happened because Adam Morrison is just sitting there yelling over the call. Adam Morrison is sitting there yelling over the call. Play it again, please. Adam Morrison is sitting there yelling over the call.
Pull up, three for the win! Yes! 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 Of the championship game! He knocked it from 40 at the buzzer! Yes! The Bulldogs! Wow! Play for a national championship!
Hey, kids, if you want to go into broadcasting and you're going to be a color analyst, shut up! Let them, you know, and I feel maybe this is the broadcaster in me. I feel so badly for the play-by-play guy because this is your moment. It's an Elite Eight game. It's a buzzer beater from 40 feet in the Elite Eight to clinch a berth in the Final Four. This is your moment. This is your forever call. This is your do you believe in miracles? This is your thing that will live on for that program in forever. And the idiot next to you will not shut up. Unbelievable. Except it's completely believable. So thank you to Brad Saunier for giving me the opportunity to rebirth a segment that I love called Shut Up, Color Guy.
Yes!
Oh. Can you imagine, like, if Do You Believe in Miracles was just ruined because whoever the color guy was for that broadcast just wouldn't shut his face? Can you imagine? If, like, instead of Do You Believe in Miracles...
I feel like I have to do this.
Instead of Do You Believe in Miracles, you hear this. Do you
Yes!
believe in miracles? What do you have to do?
Remix Do You Believe in Miracles with Adam Morrison's
How
hot
about
mustache take on top of it.
Every great call. Give me another great call.
What about Jim Henderson when the Saints went to the Super Bowl? Pigs have flown.
Okay. Well, no.
It's long.
It's more of like, yeah, the moment. Like, but sure, any great call. Whatever. Hakeem dropped the ball. Hakeem dropped the ball! I'm trying to do it. It's ridiculous. Although Hokey, God rest his soul, probably was yelling over that call. Hoke was the best. All right. Anyway, Adam Morrison, shut up, color guy. Hey, speaking of the Saints, Peter King dropped this little nugget today. Apparently, there is a movie called Home Team, which is coming soon. It is a movie which is sort of a, would biopic be the right word to say? A biopic? 2012 season where he was suspended for Bountygate and he coaches his son's 6th grade football team. That's the premise of this movie. Sean Payton apparently has approved the script, and Kevin James is going to star as Sean Payton in the movie. This strikes me as a very odd choice. Now, Kevin James is a great actor, and it's worth mentioning that this is a Happy Madison production. So the Adam Sandler production company, which has done Paul Blart and Grown Ups, and I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, Adam Sandler cast his friends in all the movies, right? I mean, it's David Spade and Rob Schneider, and what wasn't
Chris Rock?
Yeah, early Steve Buscemi was
in all of them.
Has he been in all, even still?
Yeah, Grown Up. He was in Grown Ups.
In the movie where Mr. Deeds, he was the cross-eyed guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Buscemi could be in
Billy
there.
Madison, he was the sniper guy.
He was the sniper. That's what's talking about the early ones. He was there. I didn't remember that he was in all the more recent ones. But yeah, so how might they fill out the rest of this cast? Because I'm assuming, right? I mean, it's a Happy Madison production. Has there been a Happy Madison production that didn't have all of these guys in it?
Maybe. Well, The Longest Yard had Chris Rock.
I mean, I'm even thinking, the 50 First Dates. I mean, you still had all these guys in 50 First Dates. I mean, Rob Schneider was the guy who's native of the island who had all the kids. They all have found their way into all these movies somehow, some way. Who plays Roger Goodell?
So, because it's Kevin James, I was gonna say Jerry Stiller.
Well, Jerry Stiller died.
Jerry Stiller died?
Brain, Jerry Stiller died a year ago.
Oh, my word. I saw him last night.
This just got really awkward.
Yeah, it did. But since it's a Happy Madison production, I think Christopher McDonald would make a good call.
Hey Joe Rod, do me a favor. Check Brain's list over there. Just make sure everybody's still alive that he's going to throw out.
For Tigers in the Pros?
Please. Yeah, man, Jerry Stiller died last year.
I did not know that.
I would hope you didn't know that because, man, that would be a really a-hole move.
Yeah.
If you knew that.
I don't keep up with pop culture. Good Lord.
Look at you. Wait. You don't keep up with pop culture. You have a teenage daughter.
When do teenagers watch Jerry Stiller?
I don't know, but you have way more awareness of pop culture than I do. That's a given.
I mean, enough to know that Kevin James was Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Yeah, I do that too.
All right. There's nobody else in that movie.
Jerry Stiller. Cross him off then.
Yeah, I'm Major League.
Yes. Thank you. This guy here is dead. Cross him off then. All right, so who plays Goodell?
Christopher McDonald.
Who is that?
Shooter McGavin.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love that. Shooter McGavin as Goodell, reprising the role of a bad guy. I love it. Huh?
That's perfect.
Yes. All right, who else?
Wait. Yes, he is still alive. Okay.
Good. You just have to say Shooter McGavin because I don't know that guy from anything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, he is. Who do you cast as Drew Brees is the question.
I don't know.
See,
and you got Loomis, you got Tom Benson in there too. You have to have someone who is elderly in one of these movies. What about the guy that played the old man in Big Daddy? What was the Big Daddy?
I don't remember Big Daddy very well.
Wasn't that the movie when Adam Sandler had the
adopted kid? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the old guy who was always a drunkard at the bar.
Yeah, he was also. Oh,
Anyway,
he was also in Billy Madison. He's the one that stepped on the poop in Billy Madison.
No, different guy. Different guy.
All right.
I'm 96.83% certain it's a different guy. But man, if that's the same, I got my what we learned today. Greg Williams. Steve Buscemi could be Greg Williams. Tell me that's not
that's
perfect. Put him in a goatee.
That is perfect.
Steve Buscemi is Greg Williams. You get the Greg Williams with the glasses and the goatee.
I was going to work the Rob Schneider angle for Greg Williams, but Buscemi's better casting.
What about Loomis?
I'm stuck for Loomis. I'm running through the cast of grown-ups.
Who's the guy?
Nobody fits.
Who's the guy that was the quarterback for SCLSU in Waterboy?
He's one of the Chuck and Larry guys.
I don't know, but what's that guy's name? He could be
I'll
Loomis.
find that.
He could be the straight guy that plays Loomis. That could be that guy. Or let us know. If you got suggestions, let us know. Tweet me at Matt Moscona. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. You can always text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. I also would like to give a giant tip of the cap to the Saints Happy Hour podcast. My guys over there, Ralph and Andrew, said Frankie Munoz. Like, how could you not cast Frankie Munoz to be Sean Payton? I mean, he's a dead ringer. He is the celebrity doppelganger. I mean,
didn't that go around when Sean Payton first started in New Orleans?
I don't know, but this is way too obvious, right?
Yes.
Is that guy doing anything now? What was the show he was in?
Malcolm in the Middle, wasn't he?
Sure. Yeah. But that guy, has he done anything other than that?
Not that I'm aware of.
He should do the Sean Payton movie. Lock it up. Championship. All right, it's after further review. Brain will have Tigers in the pros to wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company all in one place. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Buying or selling commercial or residential. If you need a realtor, call the realtor that sells more homes than anyone. Call Darren James. Or maybe if you're buying, really want to focus on that as well. If you're buying, remember, we are in such a seller's market right now. So if you're a buyer, you don't have a ton of leverage. In some instances, sellers are getting offers, full ask or over ask offers, before they even list their home for sale. So how do you be competitive in that market? Well, you have a realtor go to bat for you. You know how to negotiate these deals for you. Maybe a realtor that has off-market listings before they even go public. Work with Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Thanks to Craig in Baton Rouge who texted the show. Peter Dante was the quarterback for SCLSU. And remember, John Stewart played in Big Daddy as the kid's biological father. He would be good for Loomis as well. All good options there. Someone else mentioned Norm Macdonald potentially for the Loomis role. And then Jonathan Schaus said Drew Brees could play himself. I guess so. I mean, he's embarking on a TV career. Why wouldn't Drew Brees just play himself? Has Brees been in any movies, do we know?
I don't know. Let me see if he's got an IMDb account.
And then Chris Keller suggested Farmer Fran for Tom Benson.
Well, that's not right.
Well, the actor that played Farmer Fran. Do you know his name? Like, do you know any of these guys' names?
So
come on.
Yeah, he's a stand-up comedian. No, I don't remember his name.
That's the point. But you know who he's saying when you say Farmer Fran. He was also the dad in 51st Dates. He's been in a lot of these movies. Just don't know his name. Blake Clark is his name.
Yes.
Blake Clark. So Blake Clark, Tom Benson. Older guy, a little heavy set. Makes sense. It works. It fits. But then again, if you're going Kevin James and Sean Payton, you can just cast people who look nothing at all like the people that they're
right.
They're
Yeah. Basically, Will Smith is going to be Tom Benson.
Could be. Which Will Smith? Never mind. It's after further review. Brain has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Well, the majority of Tigers in the pros has already been covered. Alex Lang made his MLB debut on Saturday. Lang threw one inning for the Tigers, gave up no hits, no walks, no runs. He struck out one.
So fired up for him, too.
I know.
Keep an eye on it tonight. Astros and Tigers. You could see a Bregman-Lang matchup. It's possible. I wouldn't even say likely, but possible.
DJ LeMahieu, no sir, went 1 for 3 on Saturday and 1 for 5 on Sunday. Both hits were doubles.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
They needed the win on Sunday.
Andrew Stevenson went 1 for 1 yesterday. Stevenson pinch hit for pitcher Tanner Rainey in the 8th. Got himself a single out of the opportunity. Moving over to the NBA, Ben Simmons picked up 13 points on Saturday. No three-point attempts. Yeah. Simmons also had 3 rebounds, 3 assists. A lot of threes in that box score, but none of them from behind the arc. 2 points for Skylar Mays yesterday.
Attaboy.
Also 2 rebounds and a steal. Did it all in just 6 minutes of play.
Dude's still getting NBA minutes.
Yes, sir.
It's awesome.
18 points for Naz Reid yesterday. Would have been 25 had he stayed.
He'll never make it. Never make it.
Those 18 points were in 28 minutes of play off the bench. Reid also had 1 rebound and 2 assists.
Any day now, he'll be playing in Yugoslavia.
It's Yugoslavia. Thaddeus Moss and Joe Burrow reunite. Matt had this story earlier in the hour. Moss was released by the football team over the weekend.
Except I called them the Redskins the whole segment.
I had Redskins written down, and I'm like, delete.
Like completely no awareness that I was doing it because we so seldom here actually talk about Washington football team. I mean, they're not in the Saints division. It just there's no relevant player for that team that we would discuss here. They're largely an irrelevant franchise to our audience. Like it was just so common for me to just keep blurting out Redskins.
So he was released by football team over the weekend, was quickly picked up by Cincinnati. The Bengals actually made Moss a free agent offer after the 2020 draft.
Football team.
But Moss opted for football team instead. And that's Tigers in the pros.
Oh, man. Football team. Why is it so funny?
Because it's stupid.
I mean, but it's been there for so long now.
That's why every day that goes by, it gets dumber.
But I guess just because we never really have had the full-on. I think whenever they announced it, we probably looked at the logo and were like, oh, the logo's kind of neat.
The logo
how
was
they
neat.
did it. I mean, it was all right. But I guess we just never really had reason to sit here and talk about the Washington football team.
Right.
They didn't really play in any relevant games.
Well, and you can't go with the acronym. like
Right.
WTF or WFT. Yeah.
The only thing that might have been a story we talked about, well, obviously releasing Darius Geis,
Yeah.
but Alex Smith's comeback, I think, was something that everybody talked about. But I think I probably would just say Washington. I don't think I ever said football team.
Football team. Football team let him go.
And Brain made that very apparent.
That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com. Kentucky's best hemp. Check them out online. Use the promo code AFR30, AFR30. Save 30% off your order. All natural CBD. It's fantastic for inflammation, anxiety, have trouble sleeping. Kentucky's best hemp. Use the promo code AFR30 to save 30% off your order. All right, put a button here on hour number 2. I got an hour right this time. Progress. Hashtag progress. Anthony Rinaldo is going to join us coming up right after Sportscenter, as he does each Monday. Tiger baseball team got their first SEC series win over the weekend. They go up to Lexington and get the win. So what about Marceau as an ace? What got into the LSU offense over the weekend, which, man, they were impressive on Friday. 15 runs on 17 hits. Followed it up with 8 runs in the second game. Cut down the strikeout numbers. It was fun to watch them play those first couple of games of this series. So we'll talk to Anthony Rinaldo coming up in right after SportsCenter in the next hour. Also, what about just the feel good? Like, we talk about winning, being contagious, and sort of having that attitude. It's an intangible, but how much of that confidence really can translate into the next weekend? We'll get into all of that. Some new NBA mock drafts are out. A lot to get to here in hour number 3. Stick around. Hour 3 of AFR coming up right after SportsCenter. It's AFR.
AFR.
Take 60 seconds and remind you about South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. Remember, when I mentioned certified pre-owned, if you're in the market for a pre-owned vehicle, check out South Point Volkswagen. Because they do so much volume, they move so much inventory. You know what you do. You trade in your old vehicle when you buy your new vehicle. So they have an incredible selection, more than 100 vehicles on the lot, all different makes and models, not just Volkswagens. So if you're shopping the pre-owned lots, you could certainly do that, but make sure you check out South Point Volkswagen as well. And you go online. Right there on the top of the homepage at SouthPointVW.com, you'll see new vehicles and used vehicles. So you can search the inventory of all of their certified pre-owned vehicles. Not just, look, they have them all listed right there on the left side by make and model. South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for, and when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Callahan Injury Lawyer.
This is Sportscenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves, Twins, and Wild all postponed home games today following the police shooting of Dante Wright, citing safety concerns and respect for the community. Wright, a 20-year-old black man, died yesterday after being shot by police during a traffic stop. Tensions were already high in Minneapolis due to the ongoing trial of Derek Chauvin, a former Minneapolis police officer charged with the murder of George Floyd. ESPN radio co-host Myron Medcalf.
Just what's happened in the last year has kind of made this more of a standard in this moment, but I think a lot of these teams understand that there's a security element with playing these games. It to me, this feels like too much for everybody, so I'm not sure. I'm not surprised, I should say, that everyone canceled.
Myron on Janae Agumake and Mike Golick Jr., Timberwolves president of basketball operations Gerson Rosas, will join Spain and Fitz tonight at 8:30 Eastern to discuss his team's game postponement and reaction to the latest police-involved shooting in Minneapolis. Patriots receiver Julian Edelman, who helped New England win 3 Super Bowls, announced his retirement. He'll turn 35 next month.
We're back on Tuesday, and we've got 2 rounds of Mel's Madness. We'll tell you how Sam Darnold trade impacts the rest of the first round. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Tuesday morning on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Joseph Rodriguez.
Hey, Joe, what you doing?
The Brain.
Hey, the brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Baseball Tigers went on the road this weekend and took 2 out of 3 from Kentucky. Much needed. Anthony Rinaldo joins us as he does every Monday to recap the series. How are you, man?
I'm great, man. Thank you for having me.
Always our pleasure. Let's start on the mound. LSU, of course, saw Marceau and Labus bump up, or Labus, of course, bump up a day, and then they left Sunday TBA. Did the weekend go as you thought it might, considering what they ended up doing, starting Blake Money on Sunday?
Well, last week I talked about that I would have loved to see Blake Money out there, given his limited opportunities in long relief and stuff like that. So that's the way I saw it going. I mean, obviously we can look back. Hindsight's always 20/20, right? And it didn't go as well for him and the Tigers on Sunday. But overall, I think it was the weekend that we needed. And I think if we give him another opportunity, I think all the stuff was there. He threw strikes. He did what you wanted to do on a Sunday after we were up 2-0. And, I would like to see him get another chance. And I think that's what you use that Sunday role for is kind of develop that next young starter that can follow in Marceau and Labus's footsteps.
Let me throw a devil's advocate question out there. Why not Will Helmers, a guy who's been your midweek guy and someone you clearly trust with the ball, who started on the road, albeit in midweek games, but is not unfamiliar with that feeling?
I'm going to say something crazy right now, but I think because of the way that this season has gone this year, midweek games are at a premium. We need a guy who is an established starter that we know can actually put us in a position to win, in the 6th or 7th inning. So I think that's a premium. He's done well there. Why not keep him there? If it ain't if it ain't broke, don't fix it, type thing, and allow us to get that guaranteed win. When wins are at a premium right now, leave that guy there. Let's rotate that Sunday. We know we're getting 2 quality starts out of Marceau and Labus. Let's see who we can roll out there on Sunday to try to compete in the SEC.
So you probably don't know this, but we've had the midweek game conversation on this show for a long time, and people have always come at me because I've always been the guy that says midweek games don't matter. I don't mean like you don't go try to win, but realistically, if you're 20-10 in the conference, you could be 0 in everything in midweek games. It's not correct. So I would say the same thing here though, because LSU's undefeated in midweek games. Who cares? Like they've got to win SEC games. And their RPI is still in the 20s right now, which is fantastic, despite being 3-9 in the SEC. So when Helmers has been one of your most consistent arms, it's hard for me to understand how he doesn't throw a pitch for you this weekend.
Yeah, and for me, I guess it's everybody's different, right? And this is not me. Usually I always defend Coach Mary and Coach Dunn. This is not me defending them. This is literally what Anthony Rinaldo would be doing if I was pitching with this year's uncertainty. And you know what? Most years I would absolutely agree with you, Matt, like 100%. When we know we're going to be 20-10 in the conference, but this year we've already seen it might not go the way we want it to go this year. So we got to start trying some different things. And that's where I'm saying, like, let's see these guys that have these that are coming in high profile. Let's see what they can do on the weekend. We already know what Helmers can do, and we're kind of grooming him to develop as that next starter. We want him to get 6-7 guaranteed innings every single time. And if we throw him in that Sunday role and all of a sudden it doesn't go well for him, right, it might mess with his confidence. He's only getting 2 or 3 innings. We have a quick hook on him, and then he's not developing into that next guy when Marceau and Labus kind of leave and set that foundation, that guy that's pitched 70, 80, 90 innings rolling into next year.
I wanted to also ask about Devin Fontenot, because he went into it, not Fontenot specifically, but how they used him, where he went in there on Friday. They had a big lead, and they used him anyway. And then they went back to him on Saturday, struggled a little bit. How difficult, or why is it so difficult for relievers to be effective when they pitch back-to-back days?
Again, that's so subjective, too, because I played with guys that are like, I want to throw back-to-back days. I want to throw 7 days in a row, and the only way I'm getting an off day is when we're not playing, So I think it just depends on the guy. But Devin is used for more than 1 inning. So I would say that that's usually typical of guys that are going to go out there and just pitch 1 inning, right? And know that they're going to empty the tank for 10, 15, 20 pitches, something like that. But when you got Devin maybe pitching 2 innings, 3 innings, and he's throwing mid-90s sinkers, mixing it up, like that's a tough bounce back. And, you saw him kind of lay it out there on the line, but he couldn't finish. He couldn't finish that game on Saturday. So, I think just any time you're asking a young kid to bounce back to back and they haven't really established that in their career, overall, it's easier to ask a guy that's been in the big leagues or, pitching out of the bullpen for 5 or 6 years to do that. But when you're asking a kid to do that and he's been a starter his whole life or different things or long, it's just an interesting type situation.
Anthony Rinaldo is with us, former Tiger great. Good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us each Monday, recapping the weekend series. Of course, Tigers win their first SEC weekend, which they desperately needed. I wanted to talk about confidence, and we'll get to that in a second, but let me ask one about the offense. What happened, man? What got into this offense where they pounded out 17 hits for 15 runs on Friday?
Well, the optimist in me, and I'm always positive, right? So I think what we said in the beginning of the year, even the first couple of weekends of the SEC, is we're so young, right? So you're going to see these guys have an adjustment to SEC pitching. But maybe, just maybe, and again, being positive, that this is them breaking out of their shell, understanding, okay, we got 2 or 3 weekends in. We know what to expect. We kind of know how they're going to pitch us in the SEC. We're on the road, and we can a couple times now where,
it's just those things that it might be experienced, because you saw this weekend that a lot of freshmen carried us. They balled out, and so it's nice to see that core group of freshman guys playing well and giving that confidence that, okay, maybe they're turning it on. Maybe they're coming together. Maybe the roles are coming together. Saw DiGiacomo playing again, which was nice, because I've always been a fan of him. I don't know if it's the Italian thing, the name, I don't really know, but maybe it's the flow too.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's got to be the hair, right? Like Cotton says
yeah.
in dodgeball. But no, man, it's So I think it's just I think we're seeing some younger guys get more experience and more stuff and kind of come out of their shell and know their own. Even do guys just coming into that power role that he's in this year.
Yep.
So I think, just seeing guys come into their own and know their role, know where they stand in the lineup. And I think that's, I'm hoping that's at least the inner positive Paulie in me,
You made an interesting parallel that I hadn't thought about a couple weeks ago when you mentioned 2010, which was a team that had its struggles, but you all got hot and won the SEC tournament. Of course, went and played that UCLA team, which is just a different beast. But still, I mean, we've seen it happen before where teams hit their stride later in the season. So maybe that's what this team is headed toward, but they still have a long climb ahead of them. What about confidence? I know that's abstract, and it's hard sometimes to find that and really be specific, but I do wonder if, after having back-to-back-to-back series losses and being 1-8, to go out and actually have success, how you translate that to the next week and the next and the next.
Yeah, that's a great question, man. It's honestly, that's the difference between good, great, average teams, right? Is the ability to capture that. And I think this midweek game this week is huge. You got to roll. We got to come out swinging. We got to be able to put it on this midweek team and then roll that into the weekend too, and keep that confidence high, and kind of allow the pitchers to settle in and be like, all right, our hitters are back. We kind of know who we are now. And it's just a mindset, man. But it's so real, and energy. I know it sounds so esoteric, but it really is. And I think you saw it in the beginning of the year. Yes, it was non-conference games, but you saw those guys. They were having fun. There was an energy around the team. They were, posting certain things, saying the same things over and over again. And honestly, that's all it takes. And sometimes, a couple breaks away from having a nice come from behind Sunday win and having a sweep, like you're that close to that type of weekend to put you right back in the mix in the SEC. Like, this is the kind of catalyst that allows a team to do that, and especially a team like LSU, when you have such great players and talent. It just takes one little click to kind of turn that corner and allow a team to take off.
Man, it's so true. If they go out and get this weekend against South Carolina, it at least puts them in striking distance at the halfway point. And you have series against Arkansas and Ole Miss, which are monster series and great baseball teams. But it at least puts you in position where it's no longer a pipe dream, where you can look and say, hey, look, it's right in front of you. Go win these series, and you're right back where you wanted to be.
Exactly. And I think, that youth, that freshman, that young energy is going to really excite a lot of people at the end of the year when they really start figuring out their roles. Again, I'm always super positive when it comes to this kind of stuff, but that's like what I've seen in baseball, right? Younger teams traditionally take some time to mature. And then if they catch that fire, like, that energy is just different because they're young. They're kind of cocky. They still have that arrogance to them and stuff. So it would be fun to see these guys develop their roles, understand where they fit in this lineup, and continue to kind of keep this going.
Anthony Rinaldo, of course, F45 training. You can always get a free week. They're on Blue Bonnet right there at Highland, F45training.com. And, of course, Cards and Culture is something we talk about. And I've been throwing at least one of these out to you every week when you're here, alternate assets and things like that. I sent this to you because I wanted you to see it. But Luka Garza, who won the Wooden Award as best player in college basketball, he minted his own NFT, and it sold for $40,000. And there's some thought that this could be part of the name, image, and likeness stuff that we're going to see coming up in college athletics. So you saw this story. Give me your reaction to Garza minting this NFT and selling it.
Yeah, man, I think like I kind of responded. I told you, I was like, I think this is the model. I think we're seeing something laid out here. And this is the way I kind of saw it going for Cards and Culture. We've slow played it with MLB because MLB is a little bit more strict on their likeness and image than the NBA and NFL. But we're in talks with some NBA and NFL players on their NFT stuff. But I think you're going to see it in the NIL stuff, and even in big schools like LSU, these kids are going to be able to take advantage of this stuff. And I think through digitization, whatever that word is,
digitization,
token. Thank you. There it is. That's why you're here. I love it, man. We're a team. That's it.
That's the one thing I can do is pronounce words.
That's it. I love it. But no, Sam, I think that's what it is. We're going to see a world where crypto is going to take over. These people are, these kids and influencers and celebrities are going to be able to connect with their fans in different types of ways. I think people are going to value these assets and these experiences differently. And the digital wallets and the way that people have consumed, younger individuals have consumed technology is changing what they value. The value of the dollar doesn't go as far, but these kids, want to make connections with celebrities and influencers and athletes. So I think NFTs are setting them up, these athletes and those types of people for that world.
You should definitely learn more. Cardsandculture.com. I saw y'all just put an Alex Bregman collection up. What's up with that?
Yeah, man, this is going to be really exciting. We're trying to finalize some stuff, but he's going to come on at least as a strategic partner and maybe as an owner of the company. But we're in talks to figure that out and kind of understand where he wants to see this. But he understands the big picture of memorabilia and cards and connecting with fans. And so what we're doing is he's gotten into cards again, and so he's offering ways to connect with fans and sell some of his cards that he's bought. But he's going to get more into the box breaks and be able to do YouTube lives with his fans. And, connect on cards that are unique to him and memorabilia and make his own memorabilia and offer it to his fans through his channel. So I'm excited to develop that with him and kind of see that through and prove that model for other athletes as well.
Cardsandculture.com. It's anybody who's seen like those letters, NFT, it's just in the last few months, how much that's blown up and sports cards have blown up. Anthony's company, Cards and Culture, is kind of on the forefront of that here. So check out cardsandculture.com, cardsandculture.com, and, of course, on all the social media platforms as well. Dude, we always appreciate a couple of minutes, man. We'll do it again next week.
My man, thank you. Enjoy. Have a great week.
You too. Anthony Rinaldo, former Tiger great, good enough to spend a couple of minutes talking LSU baseball with us here every Monday, recapping the weekend series that was. It was a massive series for LSU getting that win. We'll let you hear a little more what Paul Maneri had to say today when he met with the media coming off the series win. Tigers play Grambling at the Box tomorrow. Okay, it's after further review. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, Appel's get a win last night and some new NBA mock drafts. What does it mean for the LSU guys that have already declared, and what are they saying about the Pels, what they may do? We'll talk about that when we come back. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you need dinner plans tonight, Ichiban, always a great option. Essen near Perkins, voted by you the best sushi and best hibachi and the best of 225 awards for about a decade straight. Ichiban is that. They have the freshest fish, the most creative specialty rolls. They've got the Moscona roll, of course, which you could try and indulge in at Ichiban, Essen near Perkins, or their newest concept, Bo-Ru Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. By the way, mentioned it earlier, Hudco Hat Party number 2 this Saturday, 6 p.m. at Bo-Ru. So if you've been wanting to try Bo-Ru, you've heard me talk about it, this Saturday they'll have live music from 6 until 9 p.m. They'll have happy hour drink specials all night long. So come out, try Bo-Ru, listen to some live music. I'll be there. Come pick up a Hudco hat for free, complimentary. Just join us. Be a fun night. We'll hang out. We'll watch whatever sporting events might be on TV Saturday night, and we will indulge in the best ramen you will ever put in your face at Bo-Ru Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. Give them a try. Bo-Ru Ramen.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for, and when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At front to back, they got not one, but two NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to front to back boat service.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Well, I've had back pain now and then, but it got so bad I couldn't even bend over. I didn't want to resort to pain pills, so I chose Peak, hoping they could relieve the pain. They got me active again. I even lost weight.
.1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. This year's Radiothon will last all month long. Donate today at 1045ESPN.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Real quick to follow up on the read Brain just did about Dreams Come True. Our radio group, for those that aren't familiar, that's the one organization. Listen, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of awesome, worthwhile organizations, but you just literally can't do everything. We get asked all the time to participate or to mention this charity or that event, and they're all awesome and worthwhile, and no doubt, you just literally can't do them all. So we collectively as a group, many years ago, predated, of course, when I was here, and I mean any of us were here, chose Dreams Come True Louisiana. It's an organization that grants dreams for children in our state who are fighting terminal illnesses. And we've always, for years, done a traditional radiothon where you'd call in. Well, a couple of years ago, we switched that format to doing an online giving campaign. It'll last the whole month. You can go to the website, 1045ESPN.com. Right on the homepage, you'll see the Dreams Come True Radiothon tab. Would you pull this up, Joe? You'll see the Dreams Come True Radiothon tab. I have it here. Just take my screen. The Dreams Come True Radiothon tab. And you can donate there. And the interesting thing which we've done this year is there are businesses that you'll hear mentioned throughout the whole month that are match sponsors. So like we hit certain levels. Like when we get $1,000 worth of donations, businesses that did $1,000 match, those matches unlocked, and 2,000 and so on. So I'll tell you, it's an awesome organization, and we're touched every year. We hear so many stories of these kiddos who fight terminal illnesses, and there's one thing that they want, and if it's maybe to go to Disney or go on a trip or a sporting event or meet a celebrity, whatever it is, Miss Becky and Dreams Come True make those things happen. And we've gotten to meet a lot of those dream kids over the years, and it's an awesome organization, and we're thrilled to be a part, and we get to see a lot of those stories manifest. And if you can give, if you're looking for an organization to give to, that's a great one, and this is a great opportunity. So 1045ESPN.com, Dreams Come True Radiothon, all this month. Pels got a win last night, and you listen to the Scone Cold Lock, you took Cleveland plus the 9. Ching, ching. Zion scored 38, and the Pels were able to rally past Cleveland. Cavs led by double figures early in that ball game. Pels closed it near half, and then there were 5 lead changes in the final 8 minutes of the ball game. Stan Van Gundy, after the win, had this to say about the win against Cleveland.
Well, we played well down the stretch of the game. We defended well, we rebounded well down the stretch in the game. So the last 7-8 minutes of the game, Jen, we played pretty well. For the rest of the night, especially based on who they had, they played harder than we did. They played more focused than we did. They played better than we did. We had more talent on the floor, which is what kept us close. And then our guys finished it out well.
When you don't play your best and you still win, it's the sign of a more talented team. And that was certainly the case last night. Basically, Cleveland was without Colin Sexton, didn't play. They were basically without everybody last night. And the Pels were still without Lonzo Ball, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Josh Hart, all inactive. But Pels still managed to pull out the win. And then they're back on the floor tonight, second of a back-to-back. And this has been a struggle spot for New Orleans. However, they do get this one at home tonight, 8 o'clock Central on Bally Sports NOLA. You can listen, if you're in New Orleans, on our New Orleans affiliate, 100.3 ESPN New Orleans. But oddly enough, the Pelicans have only played the Kings have only played in New Orleans one time in the last 2 seasons, obviously as a result of COVID. So it's a rarity to see Sacramento come to New Orleans in the last 2 years, but they'll try to get the second of a back-to-back. The Pelicans have not been very good in this situation, in particular when the second of a back-to-back has been on the road, but this one is at home, so we'll see if the Pels can go score or win. As we keep an eye on the playoff standings, and it just matters. I know we keep talking about this, but it's a different kind of year where there's the play-in series for the final 2 spots. So as we kind of keep an eye on it from the Pelicans' perspective, you're obviously just looking to be in the 10 spot. And so Golden State has been hanging on to that, and they're at 25 and 28. The Pelicans are at 24 and 29. So they're a game behind Golden State for that 10th spot, which would be the last of the play-in series spots. So I mean, every game, it's cliche to say every game matters, but you look at how clustered all of those teams are. Like Memphis in the 8 seed, is at 25 losses. We mentioned the Pels are at 29, so you're 4 games out of the 8 seed. It's just there's so much of a cluster right there of all those teams that are competing for those last few spots. So it's doing what this model is designed to do, which is keep more teams interested, more fan bases interested throughout, because their team still has a shot of getting in. So Pelicans are sitting right there. See if they can get another one tonight against Sacramento, which is 2 games behind New Orleans and is in the 12th spot. So it's 1 spot behind the Pelicans. So you can create some separation there as well if you can get this one. All right, tap to further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Love telling you about the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEye.com. I am going to get to some NBA mock draft stuff here in just a quick second. Williamson Eye Center. Call Dr. Blake Williamson. Set up that free consultation no matter what your refractive issue is. If you're a young person or maybe you're someone my age who at 36 years old, I had LASIK. I was a perfect candidate for it. Almost 3 years later, I'm still seeing better than 2020, seeing 2015. It's remarkable that you can have better than perfect vision, but it's possible. Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, 6 locations of the Williamson Eye Center across the greater Baton Rouge area, but of course, their newest location, that gorgeous surgical center right there on the Baton Rouge General Campus. Learn more at WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. So mock drafts are always interesting. They always get a lot of attention because people like to sort of see what player might be associated with their team or where someone who played for a college team they cheer for is going to go. This was an interesting one because it was a consensus mock draft. This was at USA Today. So what they did was they went and found 5 NBA mock drafts. ESPN, NBC Sports, Bleacher Reports, Sports Illustrated, and NBA Draft Room. And they took those 5 mock drafts and averaged out for the prospects who were in that first round of the draft where they would be taken. Does that make sense? So they would see, okay, for Cam Thomas, for example, they said, where did Cam Thomas go in those 5 mock drafts? They would take the average of those 5, and that's where they would mock them. And then for the draft order, they used each team's current record via Tankathon. So I was looking at it mostly from the LSU perspective to see where and would the LSU guys be drafted. Cameron Thomas, now remember, Lee Feinswag was with us a few weeks back, and I said my prediction was Cam Thomas would be a teens pick. He would not go past the 19th selection. They have Cam Thomas 16 to the Boston Celtics. The highest any mock draft has him is at 13th, and the lowest is at 22nd. So it is almost a sure thing that Cam Thomas will be a first-round draft pick, and that's exciting. I mean, he is a prototypical in a three-point shooting league. He is that prototypical shooting guard. He's going to have a long NBA career, and he's going to be a first-round draft pick. The interesting thing, well, not interesting, but you might find this interesting. The only other player included from LSU in any of these mock drafts is Trendon Watford. Neither Javonte Smart or Darius Days was selected in any of these mock drafts that we mentioned. So my feeling all along is that I don't think that Javonte or Darius Days has an NBA future. Specifically with Darius, it's hard to see a forward that plays below the rim, and he does. Now, he can step back and shoot the three, but not as he's not ever going to be a perimeter defender at this level, and I don't know that his release is quick enough to be a 3-and-D guy in the NBA. So Darius Days is probably an international player, and the same with Javonte, who, while I love his moxie, he has a flat-footed jumper, which just isn't going to fly at the next level. I just think it's a really, really big ask for him, and it's why you're not seeing either of these guys in many or any really mock drafts. So Trendon Watford is going to be taken in the second round. Cameron Thomas is going to be a first-rounder. Javonte and Darius Days are likely undrafted guys who may try to make their way through the G League to see if they can find an opportunity on a two-way contract or something like that to get a chance to get some NBA minutes to see if they can stick and stay, but more likely an overseas opportunity for those two guys. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. When we come back, we haven't talked really much. The only Saints talk we had today really was Sean Payton. The word that Sean Payton is going to be played by Kevin James in a new movie about that Bounty Gate year. But I did want to talk a little bit about the NFC South quarterback situations for this coming season because Sam Darnold was introduced today in Carolina. And so Sam Darnold and Matt Rule talked not only about that, but about Teddy Bridgewater. So I do want to talk a little bit about NFC South quarterback play. And the guy who was offered the Monday Night Football gig and turned it down. Have you heard who? This is going to interest you. We'll talk about it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. My goodness, was the weather this weekend glorious. Now, look, I know Friday night sucked and we lost power, but all day Saturday, nary a cloud in the sky. It's like 75 degrees with no humidity. Incredible all weekend long. The perfect opportunity to get out in your garden and just plant something. Clegg's has the flowers, the plants, the trees, the shrubs, the bushes. They have it all. Their greenhouses are bursting with color and inventory. And if you've already planted, great news, garden flags, doormats for outside, garden statues, wind chimes, all of that decorative decor, or just the decor for your exterior spaces, Clegg's Nursery has it all. And they got 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area to be convenient for you no matter where you are. 4 locations in Baton Rouge area. I tell you every single day. Buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Did you know? All right. Monday Night Football has had this revolving door here of late. They went with the short-lived Sean McDonough, Booger McFarland booth, and then obviously they had the Joe Tess booth. There's been a lot of turnover there. Steve Levy this past year with Brian Greasy and Louis Riddick manned Monday Night Football. And I thought they did a really good job. I like that collection there of talent in the booth. But apparently, when ESPN was they offered Peyton Manning. They tried to make a play to get Al Michaels. Apparently, they offered it to Charles Barkley. Seriously, Charles Barkley was a guest on the Jim Brockmire podcast. Brockmire is a fictional character that Hank Azaria played. Well, Hank Azaria has recreated this character to host this podcast, and his first guest was Barkley, and Barkley was talking about Twitter trolls and somehow found his way into just casually dropping this nugget in there.
These guys, they have they feel the need to comment on everything that's happening in the world. I only comment on basketball. Like, they offered me Monday Night Football. I like football, but I ain't going to be one of these jackasses that get on TV and act like he know about football.
Would you like to see Charles Barkley in the Monday Night Football booth? Yes or no? Brain.
Yes.
Joe Rod. I'm going to say Paul.
Absolutely. Yes.
I am so 100% all on board with that. Monday Night Football was, for many years, a show. And obviously, they have tried to recreate that many times over. Dennis Miller, Tony Kornheiser. It's just really hard to find. You can't fake chemistry. Anyone in media will tell you. With any tandem, any booth, any evening news anchor pair, any show with multiple people, The hardest thing in the world to ever create is chemistry, and when you have it, it's worth its weight in gold. It's really hard to find. And ESPN, ABC, ESPN have searched high and low for it. But Barkley, part of the reason I would hate it if it broke up the NBA on TNT, because that's the best studio show on television. But Charles Barkley says whatever he wants, consequence-free. There's nobody like it. There's nobody like him. Because the reason it works so well for Barkley is because he doesn't care what you say. When the angry mob comes after Charles Barkley for something he says that some might find offensive, and the angry mob comes and they want their pound of flesh, Barkley rebuffs it because he don't care what you think. He'll just keep doing what he's doing. And so the angry mob realizes they're not going to get their pound of flesh from Charles Barkley because he's not going to recant anything. So they go to the next person that they can go with their pitchforks and torches and try to get him fired and cancel culture and all that stuff. Barkley's awesome. I'd love to see him. We got to watch crappy Monday Night Football games. You're going to show me the Bills and the Jets. Give me Barkley talking about the Bills and Jets and how much they suck. I would love it. It'd be huge. But he turned it down, unfortunately. And who knows? Might have been calling a game with Sam Darnold as the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. He was introduced today. Darnold talked about how much it stung not being wanted in New York. Matt Rule met with the media as well and was asked about how it's going to play out with Teddy Bridgewater, and said we're going to have to wait and see. Indefinite right now. I think at $17 million with $10 million guaranteed, it's pretty clear Bridgewater won't be in Carolina at that deal this year. Post-June 1 release, they'd save about $8 million against the cap, which is very likely what Carolina will do, which means Teddy Bridgewater will be cut free and he'll be free to go sign with whomever he wants unless a team works a deal. It's just impossible to imagine any team working a deal with Teddy Bridgewater's current contract when they know just wait until he's cut and then you can sign him for whatever you want to sign him. But it got me thinking with Bridgewater and Darnold in Carolina, if I had to peg the ranking right now of quarterback situations in the NFC South, for the past 15 years, there was little argument other than the New Orleans Saints at the top of the list. Matt Ryan had an MVP season. I do understand that. Cam Newton had an MVP season also. But over the last 15 years, the Saints have been the standard bearer for quarterback play in the NFC South because of Drew Brees. When you started any list, it would always start with Brees. Now, it's very obvious you're starting with Tom Brady. Even at 43 years old, they just won a Super Bowl. Tom Brady is at the top of the list. It's not a question. And then Matt Ryan has to be number two. Matt Ryan has thrown for over 300 touchdown passes. He's thrown for over 50,000 yards. Matt Ryan has started every game of his professional career. Every game he's played in, he started more than 200 games over the time he's been in Atlanta since 2008. And they were 4-12 last year, so his team stinks. But Matt Ryan is still a guy who threw for nearly 30 touchdowns and 11 interceptions last year. It goes Brady and then Matt Ryan. So Tampa, Atlanta. And then you have this big giant question mark with the Saints and Carolina. And what's interesting is I looked at Jameis, his career statistics, and compared them to the combination of Darnold and Teddy Bridgewater. And they're actually pretty similar. Jameis has started 70 games. Teddy and Darnold combined, 87. Jameis has thrown 121 touchdowns. Darnold and Teddy combined, 98. Jameis has thrown for 19,812 yards. Those two have combined for 19,482 yards. It's basically the same career production, but Jameis is one guy that's done it. The combination of Teddy and Darnold have done it together. So would you rather the one guy or the combination of the two? Now, I don't think both those guys stay in Carolina this year, so that is ultimately going to give the Saints the leg up. And the reason I think that matters, obviously, in the 17-game schedule and expanded playoffs, I don't think the Saints are going to win the division again this year. But if you can win, obviously, the two games against Carolina and hopefully against Atlanta as well, and you see what happens with Tampa, you position yourself for a wild card spot just to get into the postseason, which I think has got to be the goal for the Saints this year. Realistically, when you're turning over what you've turned over, and yes, the roster is still in place to be very good, I don't know realistically if we're thinking this is a team that's going to be a double-digit win team that's going to win the division and fight for the number 1 seed. So what do you do to just get in? And owning your division and beating the teams in your division that are lesser than you is where you have to start with that every single year. Just interesting to look at that side by side. And who knows? I mean, you have 2 old veteran quarterbacks in Brady and Matt Ryan, and then you're going to have 2 younger guys who were the first and third overall picks in their respective drafts with Jameis Winston and Sam Darnold, likely as your starters. So it could be a year in this division where you see some fluidity, where maybe you see regression from Matt Ryan as he's later in his career, and you see either a Jameis or a Darnold begin that emergence. It's just different. It's so interesting because it's so different. When you have such a constant like we have had in this division for so long with Breeze and Cam and Matt Ryan, and now you don't have that anymore, it's just very interesting to see how it's all going to unfold, because this could be the start of the next decade. I mean, if Jameis establishes himself, if Sam Darnold establishes himself, that could be the turning of or sort of the passing of the torch for the next decade in this division. Or maybe they both stink, and every team in this division within 2 years is looking for its next franchise quarterback. What you know is just all of that stuff is cyclical. I mean, there was a time in the early 2010s where the Niners were great, the Seahawks were going to Super Bowls, Arizona was there as well. The Rams had started to come on defensively, certainly. And then if you think just prior to that, man, when the Saints went up to Seattle in 2010, Seahawks had a losing record. Or were they 8-8? They were 8-8 as a division champ. And then that division tanked, and now they're arguably the best division again. It's interesting how cyclical it all is. And so for the NFC South, we're in the midst of that. And it's a fun time to see where it may take us. All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Remember, they are hiring. So if you are looking, you want to make more money, health and retirement benefits, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, let me knock out our final break of the show. When we come back, Jimmy Ott joins us for Otter Locks and what we learned. Glad you're hanging out on the Monday edition of AFR.
AFR.
NBA tonight. Pellies are back at home. Late tip, 8 o'clock. You need a place to watch. Get by Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. They've got the MLB TV package. So every single Major League Baseball game, even the Astros, if that's your team and you can't get them because most television contracts are stupid, you can always watch the Stros at Pluckers. Great opportunity tonight, as we mentioned. Astros against the Tigers tonight from Minute Maid. Alex Lang against Alex Bregman tonight. You need a place to watch? You can get by Pluckers. Had the family over on Saturday. We did Pluckers. Had a big takeout order, 50 wings, bunch of tenders, sides, all the good stuff. Just put out a big buffet, and we watched LSU baseball on Saturday. It's a great opportunity if you're hosting people at your house. You want to get out and eat. Look, tonight, Monday, all-you-can-eat wings every Monday, both Pluckers locations. Nicholson and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. Eat wings, drink beer, watch sports on TV. At Pluckers, you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At front to back, they got not one, but two NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to front to back boat service.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for, and when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet,
Further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Brett Golf. It's all there at 1045ESPN.com. Right now, one thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
And we welcome aboard the one and only, the incomparable, and oftentimes incomprehensible, Jimmy Ott, the Ottfather. How are you, Otter?
Was doing good till the top of the fifth at Episcopal JV. EJ had a no-hitter into the fifth, and 4 earned runs led to a 7-run inning, and, well... Poor EJ.
Well,
so, you know.
Skip's got to know when to come with the hook. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, big drop off to the pin, bro.
Hey, look, he's just out there doing what he's asked to do, which is throw the ball over the plate. You know what I mean? At some point, Skip's got to know. Hey, give me the righty. Give me the righty.
You know how it is, man. But he's out there. Oh shoot. So anyway, we last we spoke, we had a great day, man. You know, on 4-1, and so the NBA, I'm going to give you one thing. Well, I had a tough one. I was here in Magnolia Bluffs yesterday. Catching 4 with Toronto.
Okay.
Got the ball with 10 seconds to go, but losing by 2. Well, maybe overtime. Maybe, they shoot, miss, and make 2 free throws. I push it the worst, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many times you see a guy in the NBA double dribble?
Oh, never. Just doesn't happen.
Foul, 2 free throws, miss, foul, 2 free throws, 6-point game. Thanks for shopping.
Oh.
So, but anyway, the Matsuyama, man, that was anywhere from 33 to 50 to 1 in the Masters. So kind of lacked a lot of intrigue. Went from 30 to 1, Matt, and then when it cut it to 2, Xander, it went to 30 to 1 to 10 to 1, and then the next hole was back to 30 to 1.
Oh wow! So, yeah, Schauffele just blew it late. Well, I mean, not that he was still long odds, obviously, but he was within striking range until he went in the water. But
all right, we're gonna go back to the Lakers tonight. Catching 2 at New York. New York's won 2 games at home. They're 16-10 at home, but very fortunate to do so. I just mentioned the Toronto game, and Friday night against Memphis. John Morant missed a little runner in line, so. We're going with that one in the Lakers +2. Also going to a couple of games in baseball today. Not thrilled that the Chicago White Sox scratched Carlos Rodon for Dallas Keuchel, but we're still going to fade the Indians here. The Indians are atop the AL Central, but all 8 of their games are against the AL Central. 6 of the 8 games have played against Detroit. So we just don't think they're as good as their record. And they certainly can't hit. We got the White Sox minus a small number there. And then the other game is the Milwaukee Brewers against your Chicago Cubs. So Cubs are not real good, and enough said. So I like the pitching matchup tonight. So Brewers minus a little bit, and the White Sox minus a little bit, and the Lakers plus a little bit. So 3-pack today. Got a big show tonight. Wes Reynolds, long shot, recapping the Masters. Our NBA handicapper from Houston, Zach Scarborough. He's got a couple of picks, 6:30 starts that he's going to say. Troy Macker from Bet Rivers, recapping all the action, letting you know where the action is as well. And we'll be sweating games over here at Magnolia Bluffs.
Otter.
Damn it, EJ. Come on, boy.
Otter. The Scone Cold Locks might be back. I got hot again this weekend. Otter. Had a brutal March, went cold, and over this weekend I was like, you know what, I'm getting back on the horse. Won with Orlando on Friday, was 2-0 yesterday, and tonight I got the Warriors.
You got a good number there because it pushed a lot of places. Orlando against the Pacers?
Yep.
That game? Okay.
So
and who else you had this weekend?
Yesterday I had Cleveland plus 9. And then also gave out Minnesota last night plus 4.5.
That's a team that are playing a lot better than their record right now. I'm not crazy about Karl Anthony Towns sitting out tonight. But, yeah, they watched the entire game here in Natchez yesterday, and they're playing well right now. But Towns, gosh, he had like 26, 13, and 8 last night. He's going to sit tonight. But, they're live as well. And, yeah, Cleveland, man, boy, even the lineup that they played, I actually had 10 here in Natchez last night. Yeah. But, yeah, that was a very slow start for the Pels last night. So Pels, you want to bet them at Bet Rivers to make it to the playoffs, plus 3-1. If you say no playoffs for the Pels, minus 4-1.
Is that just to get in the 10 seed?
Yes.
Okay, just to get into the play-in tournament there. Okay, that's.
No, I'm going to have to clarify that. I think that those odds, that has to be to get the 8.
Okay.
It has to be the 8.
All right.
I'm sorry about that.
All right, Game Time with Jimmy Out follows us right here in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Out Facebook page. Thank you, Otter.
We need some runs, Episcopal. Come on.
Get out of here. He's yelling at his kids, JB. He's yelling at his kids, JB. Frank, what did you learn?
Rest in peace, Maury Ballstein.
Joe's almost said Paulie. What did you learn?
Rest in peace, Jerry Stiller.
Matt, what'd you learn?
Rest in peace, Edmund Linedeck. Thank you, it's Jared LeBlanc. Who's the old guy in Big Daddy? Died in 2015.
Boy.
We are so out of pop culture references.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about our friends over at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. You know the website, Michelli.com. Michelli.com, the largest distributor of scales, easy for you to say, in our country. 29 offices in 11 different states. And as a supplier and service provider for critical infrastructure, Michelli has been fully operational during the COVID-19 pandemic, so you can ship your equipment to them, or you can find the location nearest you at Michelli.com, Michelli.com. They are ISO 17025 accredited, and maybe most importantly, Michelli has their track system, which allows you to be able to track the progress of your tools and your instruments that are being calibrated, 24/7, 365 access as well to your calibration certificates. Michelli.com. Check them out online. Michelli.com.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business